That'd be huge for Jessie.
Sick. Alright, so beginning.
Check, check, check. Hey, Ethan, I think we're ready, buddy.
So apparently when these guys were finishing, like one fell, and the other one got up and waited for them. And
Ideally. I mean, anything that's interesting, really. Well, I mean, we can text also. Are we live? Yeah. All right, sick.
I would explain to the listening audience here too what's happening a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, we are live here on YouTube. We have at least a few people here in our live studio audience. Welcome to Saturday of the 2023 Canyons by UTMB. My name is Dylan Bowman, joined by Corrine Malcolm. Corrine, how are we feeling so far this morning? We got up at about 3:45. Are you feeling energized or what?
I've had just enough coffee. I think I'll need some more here in a little bit, but we're ready. We're at the start. We're out at Cool. We're going to talk about the 100-mile. We're going to talk about the 100K. The 50K should be finishing here shortly. We're watching 25K finishers walk around here in the expo area right now. It's been an exciting 24 hours already.
Yeah, so let's just inform the people what we're doing. And we have to say we're not entirely sure what we're doing. This is a total experiment, but we are pretty confident in the model, and we're definitely confident that we'll be able to keep you entertained for at least a little while. We, of course, were supposed to have a full day live stream today. That was canceled, so we figured we would do our best to bring some information, some footage, some commentary about the amazing action that's happening out on the courses here today. We are in the capital of endurance sports. Is that what they call it? Auburn, California? The world capital of endurance sports. And awesome racing happening this weekend, yesterday, and today is was the 100 miler. So we're going to update you on what happened in the 100 miler, and then all day today is the 100K. Of course, there are golden tickets on the line. This is part of the UTMB World Series. It is the North American Major, and then we have a rip-roaring 50K happening right now, and we expect them to be finishing soon.
For the next 20 minutes or so, we believe our lead men will be here in downtown Auburn at the finish line. And we're hoping to pull some of those guys and gals up here onto stage with us to give a little post-race interview once they do make it here.
So I think with all that being said, a quick introduction. Let's go ahead and update the folks on what happened in the 100 miler. It was an action-packed day. It was super duper hot, record temperatures here in Auburn yesterday, massive attrition rate. What happened in the front of the pack?
Yeah, right now we're looking at like a 52% or so dropout rate of the 278 starters. Not an easy day out there. It sounds like there was some course direction issues. It was definitely very, very hot, but our leading men finished in the middle of the night last night, super early this morning. And actually it was interesting. It was a Chinese athlete who spoke no English and a Swiss athlete. And so I don't know if the French and Chinese were communicative out there whatsoever, but they ran like for 12 or 14 hours side by side. Actually, one of them fell near the finish line. The other one waited for him to get up, and they finished together. And that was Liu Canhao of China and Matthew Clement of Switzerland. And they finished together in 17:05:16 after starting here in Auburn at 9 a.m. on Friday. And then Canyon Woodward, who's had kind of an aggressive spring campaign of races, ended up holding on for that third position, moving up in the field in the later stages of the race, moving up from 5th or 6th to finish in 3rd after just missing out on a golden ticket in
Quick
Bandera.
Pause here, Corrine. Ethan, if you don't mind sharing my screen so our viewing audience can hear Corrine walk through this, that'd be great. Awesome. Thanks so much. Keep going, Corrine.
Sweet. So Canyon held on there for that third position after coming up just short at Bandera and then dropping out of Black Canyon. He was followed by a string of very strong men, including Ethan Peters, Adam Steidler, Ryan Atkins, Adam Kimball, Jonathan Ryder, Ryan Mays, and Christopher Harrington. We actually saw those 8th, 9th, and 10th place males finish just before the start of the 100K this morning. They ran in through the back of the starting field to get across that finish line. And then I heard from Alyssa Clark, the women's winner, that they saw the 100K come barreling at them on their way into town, which was a little bit, I think, alarming at the time. But speaking of the women's race, Alyssa Clark led, I think, wire to wire. She wasn't able to go to Istria back just a couple weeks ago to race. This worked out, I think, better than expected. She moved actually from the 100K to the 100 mile this week. She wanted to apologize for screwing up Free Trail Fantasy because she was not listed in our fantasy picks, but she ran such an incredible race. Like, talked to her here at the finish line, looked really, really good, looked really happy with that.
Yeah, it's rare people move up in distance at the last moment. Usually it's like, oh, I'm going to bump down to the 100K or the 50K. Actually, no, I'm going to bump up to the 100 miler and record warm day here in Auburn.
Yeah, record warm day. She finished in 20 hours, 13 minutes, 21 seconds. I think we expected about a 20-hour finish, 19 to 20 hours for the women. I mean, it was close to 90 degrees yesterday. No one is coming out of the heat into this unless, again, you're from Texas or Florida. And so Alyssa Clark won. She was actually kind of marked closely all day by Alexis Krellin. Super strong day for her, finishing in 2nd. She finished about 40 minutes back. Annie Hughes was our 3rd place female, finishing in 21:26, followed by Alex Borsick. And it looks like we have we've got 7 women in. I actually just saw Manuela. She's sitting down here in the audience getting taken care of by her pacer, Arlen Glick. But Alex Borsick in 4th, Lindsay Dwyer in 5th, Lara Martins of Brazil in 6th, followed by Manuela. also from Brazil in 7th. And then we are waiting imminently for Ashley Hall to finish here in Auburn. So we're waiting on the 8th place female to cross the line here shortly. But what a race. These runners have been out in the heat since 9 a.m. on Friday.
Super, super tough conditions. Ethan, you can go ahead and unshare my screen now. So let's talk about the 100K. We were out all morning. We got up, like I said, about 3:45 to get out onto the course. We actually came here to the start, and it's been a great vibe here in Auburn. I have to say, Corrine, as two people who've been at Western States many, many years, obviously that race sets a great precedent for the town of Auburn. But I have to say, the Canyons vibe is something to behold. It's been really fun to be here. I think it's UTMB has been able to take it up a notch in terms of the overall, feeling in town and the professionalism of the race. It's been a lot to see, and I love the finishing line is just right here in downtown Auburn, just maybe 100 meters from where we sit here. And so, like I said at the beginning of our broadcast, we do plan to pull some of the finishers as they come through the finishing chute up onto the stage with us and do some short interviews to keep you all entertained. Should we go to our videos now from the 100K, or should we do maybe quick updates from the tracker first and then go into our videos? What do you think?
Why don't we'll talk, let's see where they're on course right now, and then we can go into the videos that we took out at Cool this morning. We actually have, I think, start line footage as well from 5 a.m. here in Auburn, but we can talk about where the men currently are, and the trackers are kind of a little bit like, I'm curious to see what's happening out there.
Ethan, if you want to reshare my screen, I've got the 100K list up. Thank you.
Yeah, so it looks like right now, and actually it's going to be a little bit off too. It's some of these trackers are going to come through in the wrong order. So right now it's going to say Brandon Miller's in the lead, and that is not actually the case. So Cole Watson is your current men's leader, it looks like. He's about, 3 seconds up on Sebastian. We do know that David Roach was close to Sebastian leaving Browns Bar. They left together, but his tracker has not yet come through Browns Bar 2, so we'll wait to get an update there. But right now, Cole Watson,
guess
Sebastian,
David Roach is through Browns Bar 2.
We can assume David Roach is through Browns Bar. Matt Daniels, Adam Mary, Simon Widman, the German, Ellis Bland, the Brit who people are cheering for on the YouTube channel right now, and then they're followed by a duo of Italians in Roberto Mastrato and Alessio Zambone in 8th and 9th. And we're assuming that David Roach is in that mix as well, probably up there with Cole Watson and Sebastian, based on where they left Brown Bar 1, unless I don't think the wheels have come off there at this point, but we will have we'd have some tracker issues for sure over the course of the day.
Great. So I've got the women up now. Corrine, do you want to run through them?
Yeah, so what we saw out there earlier, Ida Nilsson is in your lead at Browns Bar 1. That's the 30-kilometer mark. She's followed pretty closely by Canadian athlete Priscilla Forgy, someone who I don't think was on a lot of our radars. I missed her on my radar. Got to run behind her a little bit at Cool this morning, and she was just having the very best time. She's from Edmonton, Canada. But she's got, some great 50-mile, 50K finishes. She's won the Squamish 50-50, where you double back, and she won the 50-mile outright. She was 7th in the 50K, winning the 50-50 weekend. She won Ultra Trail Haracana back in the fall, so clearly has some good distance chops. This is not her longest race to date, so she's running in a great position. She's just a couple minutes up on Arroyo Seco, Naomi Brand, and Anna McKinney. We're all really, really close together, and they're followed also very closely by Addie Bracey. So,
we should say, too, that Priscilla has made up time on Ida.
Yeah,
if they did, in fact, go through Browns Bar together, because Ida had a couple minutes on Priscilla when they came through Cool the second time. When
they came through Cool the second time, there was definitely a couple minutes there, and it looks like they came through Browns Bar about 20 seconds apart. So Priscilla has closed a little bit to Ida Nilsson, approaching that 30K mark. It's early. It's still pretty cool out there, literally. We were standing in the shade, and I was not warm enough type of thing standing still. So I think that the athletes are definitely benefiting right now from having a little bit of those cooler temps, but that's going to change over the course of the day. It's going to heat up, and athletes are going to start to really feel that.
Yep. So then it was Arroyo Seco from Spain in 3rd, Naomi Brand from New Zealand in 4th, Anna McKenna from Australia. So look at that, our top 5. Sweden, Canada, Spain, New Zealand, Australia, before we even see our first American athlete.
And then five American women right in a row there. Addie Bracey, Brianna Grigsby, Sammy Stymack, Lindsay Allison, and Mary Bowman are right now in those 6th through 10th positions, hoping to move up over the course of the day. They all looked calm and collected coming through Cool earlier.
Let's go ahead and do the 50K now, and then we'll go into some of our footage here. I'm going to just hit a refresh button and make sure we are fully on top of our game here. So again, tracker.
Jeshrin, 20-ish minutes to the finish we look like right now.
So talk about Jeshrin. He's a teammate of yours, somebody who's, new to arrive on my radar. It seems like a youngster he's an American guy, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
American. Yeah. He's one of those Gunnison, Western Colorado College kids, came out of that mountain sports trail team program, which is really cool. It's a collegiate trail running team. So really cool to see him come out of that. He's been on our team at Adidas for a couple of years now. He got to go over to Europe. He spent the whole summer in Europe. Like, what a dream as like a 21-year-old, just like cruising around Chamonix for the summer, racing internationally for the first time. But yeah, he's here. He's running really well. He's currently in the lead. He's currently expected to win this thing by about 10 minutes right now, which would be a huge performance for Jeshrin Smalls.
Huge performance.
So
noticeably absent is Hayden Hawks. Anywhere on the radar here?
He was up in that lead group early, and it looks like either we're having a tracker issue or he has fallen back or even withdrawn potentially. We'll see if we can get an update on Hayden Hawks. But right behind Jeshrin, it looks like Matt Seidel of Oakland, East Bay guy. He's followed by Rod Farvard, who this is his first race back since fracturing his tibial plateau this winter in a ski accident.
Serious injury.
He was in a brace for much of the winter, so good to see Rod back on his pursuit, I think, of Western States again in June. Eric LaPuma, coming out of the Vermont winter, is in that mix as well. Also, Bay Area guy Nick Handel right in that group too. So right now, our top two men are expected here in the next 20 to 30 minutes with Jeshrin in that front, leading that charge. And I guess my big question is, where is Hayden Hawks?
Yep.
Like, is he still in that mix? Have we just lost his tracker? What's going on there? Because to me, that's a little bit of a surprise at this point.
Yep. So we're expecting about a 3:38 or so winning time on the men's side. Let's check in on the women's race, and then we will go through some of the amazing footage that we got out on the course with the 100K athletes this morning.
Yeah, so right now, once again, our favorite, most interesting person in endurance sports, Heather Jackson, is leading the women's race in that 50K this morning. It looks like she will have about a 6 or so minute lead over MK Sullivan at the 39-kilometer mark. We'll get a split of them coming through no hands, and then from there to the finish. But right now, Heather Jackson leading MK Sullivan. Kimber Maddox was like kind of a late withdrawal from the race. It sounds like her body's got a little bit of an injury going on, or trying to prevent an injury from becoming a thing. So she was a late withdrawal. Katrina Jennings, who we talked about a little bit in our preview, is currently in third, the Masters athlete, the Irish athlete. Abby Levine, another person who we missed, I think, in the preview in part because we thought she was in the 100K, dropped down to the 50K. She's currently in fourth. Melody Gilbert, Canadian, looks like is running in fifth. Robin Lesh in sixth. Tessa Chesser in seventh. Erica Flowers, Nordic skier turned trail runner out of Bozeman, Montana. I grew up ski racing against Erica.
Yeah,
so
she's
excited
super
to
high
see,
level Nordic ski racer
super high
too.
level Nordic skier. Excited to see her really get into the running space. She really still has been doing a lot of ski racing until, just the last winter or so. So excited to see what she can do there. She's currently running in the top 10. And then we have Susanna Trinkova in 9th, and then Amy Sturgill currently in 10th place in that race. But we're waiting for a no hands split from Heather Jackson in about 20 minutes, and then seeing what the actual split between MK Sullivan and Heather is, as far as like, is that a 6-minute gap? Is it an 8-minute gap? We don't know. But once again, Heather entered the sport of trail running with a 100-mile race at Javelina, then stepped down to a 100K race at Black Canyon, now has stepped down to a 50K race here before ultimately she'll toe the line at Western States in June. And
for her second 100-miler.
Just thrilled with her entry into the sport.
We had a fun laugh about that in the pro panel on Friday, or on Thursday, I guess it was, when we commented that most people take the progression 50K, 100K, 100-miler. She did the opposite, 100-miler, 100K, 50K.
Yeah, it's not your normal entry into the sport of trail and ultra running.
Yeah, but obviously, like somebody who's done 1,070.3 triathlons, that sort of like 4 to 5 hour effort is something that's not unfamiliar to her. I think it's going to be so interesting to see Heather's result not only here but at Western States, and just then take the macro question about training. How important is it to put in run volume in your training? Because she's done so much bike volume, running like 40 to 50 miles a week, whereas a lot of the top tier professional women are running, what do you think, like between at least 80 and 110 miles a week of run training?
I think the other exception to something like that would be someone like a Claire Gallagher, who's more notoriously low miles. Drew Holman, more notoriously low mileage. I think that the difference between someone like Claire and someone like Heather is that, Claire, I feel like a lot of us feel like it's miraculous, like how good she is on like high quality but low volume training. Heather is doing these long bike rides and then doing a brick off the bike running, which I think is really cool for the not time limited, but the like injury limited folks. Like this is something that I think I'm adopting a little bit into my training, spending more time on the bike. Someone like Hillary Allen doing the same thing. So I think that
it's something European athletes do.
Watching Heather do it is, I think, a good example of like, oh, there's a different way to do this sport and maybe have it be more sustainable, maybe have less injury risk, etc. So more power to it.
Preserve the rig, as Tim Tweetmeyer said on a Zoom call with us this week. Preserve the rig.
I love it.
And incorporating the cycling training is something that can help you preserve that rig. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. For any data scientists who are watching our feed here, I would love it, leading into Western states, if we could map the 16 weeks of training leading into the race for all the athletes who make their training public on Strava.
Liam, are you watching this?
Yes, I know. Yes. Aid Station Fireball, Liam, we need you to crunch these numbers. 16 weeks of training, how much of it was running, how much of it was cycling, and then we can truly know how much training volume matters to ultimate performance on the world's biggest stage at the Western States 100. So that is a call to action for somebody watching us here on our YouTube Live today. So that's a quick catch up on everything that's happened so far this weekend. 100 milers are still trickling in. 25K runners are ripping through the finishing chute. We do expect to see the men's winner of the 50K here pretty soon. And then we will be providing more updates from what I would call the premier race, the 100K here today with golden tickets on the line. Speaking of the 100K, let's go to some of our footage here now. And Ethan, give me a second. I'm going to tell you when I'm ready. I think we'll start with the drone footage. Compliments of Addie, our drone pilot this morning. And I haven't seen this footage yet myself, so I'm really excited.
I haven't either, but she saved our butts because for those of you who don't know, this has been a ongoing live experiment as far as what can we bring you from the course as the race unfolds. And Dylan and I ran the wrong direction on the course out of Cool this morning trying to find the 100K runners, but Addie saved our butts and got drone footage of all those guys and gals coming into that 6 mile mark, that first aid station, because we surely did not see them. Yeah, the course is marked in many different directions and we went down the wrong way and therefore missed the hero shots that we hope to get on GoPros, but luckily Addie saved the day with amazing drone footage. So Ethan, if you want to share my screen now, I'm going to press play. And again, this is an experiment. We've never tried this before. We're calling this a race companion. We're playing footage from earlier this morning. This was from, what was it, Corrine? Maybe 5:50 a.m. this morning at Cool One. Yep. We were at sunrise. Super beautiful there this morning at that aid station. So I've pressed play here. Give it a sec. Not sure if this is working. Oh, yes, it's working. Amazing. The headlamps, that's so cool. There we go. Got to get that off. There we go. So 5:50 a.m. this morning, the runners had crossed No Hands Bridge and then came up what they call Training Hill just outside of Auburn. I think it's one of the most steep, challenging climbs out of the American River Basin there. Climbing up towards Cool, California. Of course, Cool is famous for hosting Way Too Cool, one of the oldest races in North America, one of the season openers here in Northern California that always attracts deep talent from near and far for people to test their fitness early in the season. So again, this is drone footage catching the lead men coming into Cool the first time. Once they exited this aid station, they did about an 8-mile loop. And they came back through this aid station. So this is Cool 1. If you look at the aid station chart and various splits, this is from the first time they passed through. Yeah, and it's not that dissimilar if you've run Formidable, if you've run Way Too Cool. any of those races in this kind of American River Canyon area, you're familiar with these trails. They're fast, they're flowy. They were beautiful and pristine, and I think in perfect condition this morning. Not too wet. It was fast running trail.
How cool is this, Corrine? Look, we're totally inventing a new form of race coverage here. We are building the plane while we're flying it, so to speak. So we captured this footage out on the course today, and here we are sharing it after the fact with you all. Certainly better than nothing at all here. I hope you guys are entertained at home, wherever it is you are tuning in from. As soon as Corrine's got the chat up, so make sure you guys jump in the chat and join us. I would guess we're going to try and stay live this morning for a couple of hours. So, and we'll hope to obviously share this fun footage with you for the next, say, 30, 40 minutes, and then hopefully we can get the winners from the 50K to come join us on stage, potentially even some of the other podium finishers or the winners from the 100-miler, even if we can identify them and have somebody grab them for us while we sit here on stage. So don't go anywhere. We're going to share some fun footage. We're going to have some special guests, and we're going to have fun for at least a couple hours here. And I guess I should say, Corrine, before I shut up, tonight, 5 p.m., we're going to do our post-game show. So for those who are watching now, if you're going to go out for your training run or whatever, make sure you come back around 5 p.m. where we're going to do a post-race wrap-up. We'll talk about the golden ticket chase concluding, look ahead towards Western States, things like that.
Yeah, and I think the funny part here is that while we're saying that we're building the plane while we're flying it,
Sorry, interruption. Harmony, my lovely wife, it's sending me text saying that it looks like Hayden is in first.
Okay, so we did have a tracker issue.
Yeah, tracker issue.
Okay, so we do have a tracker issue. Hayden Hawks, it looks like, is in the lead of the men's 50K. His tracker did not read at Driver's Flat or Clementine, I think, was the last split. So that is interesting. So it does not look like, it looks like Jeshrin will probably be in second position. Hayden should be here in probably the next 5-10 minutes?
Yep, should be. This is from Roby. And Harmony's saying second was about a minute behind Adidas Kit. So that's
Jeshrin's in second. Okay.
Wow, we got a great race. Great to see Hayden out there. I got a little nervous there that he had a little hiccup on his road back to Western States, where, of course, he finished a proud second place behind Hoka teammate Adam Peterman last year. So we continue to look at our fun drone footage here from the early miles. This was mile 6.5 or so, coming through cool California. It was really a beautiful morning when Corrine and I were out there. We were jogging around on the course, commenting that we hope that people were hydrating early because it was so pleasant this morning, and it will become a bit more oppressive in terms of heat this afternoon. As we saw in the 100K, there was massive attrition, so hopefully the runners out on the course today are taking care of themselves to avoid that unfortunate conclusion to their day. But again, we should start to see 50K runners pouring through the finish line here pretty soon.
Yep, and to that, we were out, we woke up, we were at the start here, we busted it with everyone else all the way out to Cool. This morning we ran the wrong way on course to try to get the footage. This morning ran the right way on course, did get the footage that we're going to show you here momentarily after we watched these beautiful drone shots from Addie this morning, and then got back here. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to go out to mile 48, I think, later this afternoon before coming back here and doing that again, that post-race show at 5 p.m. to kind of conclude the day from 5 to 6. So you got a window to go out for your long run in between all of that, we think.
Yeah, plan to go out on your run in maybe 2 hours or so when we're wrapping up. For now, hang tight, stick with us.
Procrastinate with us.
Let's see.
Drink another cup of coffee. You don't need to go anywhere.
Still about 3 more minutes left in this drone footage. I'll try and point out, you'd think that Ida Nilsson would be coming through here in the drone pretty soon if we haven't missed her already. It was a lovely morning out there. Quintessential springtime, Northern California. Unseasonably warm, but I think a lot of people are happy to be in the warm sunshine again after a cold winter and throughout the American West, really. But definitely here in Northern California, Thank goodness we'll take every drop of moisture we can get here in Northern California.
And it looks like we're going to have a race for third place in the men's race. Matt Seidel is only about a minute in front of Eric LaPuma, it looks like, on prediction. And so right now it looks like we're going to have Hayden Hawks trying to hold off the young Jeshrin Small. And then it looks like behind them there'll be a race between third and fourth, which will be Matt Seidel of Oakland and Eric LaPuma coming out of Vermont here. So exciting times in the men's 50K underway.
Matt Seidel, I don't know if he's a buddy of yours, but young guy, I've had a chance to run with him a couple of times.
He's raced a lot this spring.
Yeah, he did Black Canyon, I think he was 10th. Then he did
Lake
Sonoma. He was around the same position, I think, probably around the top 10 or so.
Now he's here in the 50K.
And he's maybe having his best race so far this spring.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be tired.
No, not tired yet.
And again,
it
he
seems.
goes 100K, 50 mile, 50K. So
come on, Matt.
Feels like a walk in the park for him.
But he's a fast guy, and I think he's really learning how to race the longer distances still. I think he's more notorious for going out a little hard and fast and trying to figure out that, okay, how do I pace it with these guys? How do I make sure I'm running my race? How do I make sure I don't fall off in the last third of the race type of thing? So I think Matt's learning a lot, maybe trial by fire a little bit to get that stuff figured out. But he's an exceptionally talented runner, fast road guy. So excited to see what he can do here today. A podium would be great. But
that'd be great. That'd probably be his career best performance if Matt's able to hang on for a podium position just in front of Eric LaPuma, somebody we were talking about not only on our stream yesterday, but on our run yesterday afternoon. He's an athlete of yours, amazingly talented from the East Coast. Maybe say a few words about Eric.
Yeah, super, super fast. Was supposed to do the 100K this week, but with the being named to the U.S. Worlds team to compete in Austria in June in the 80K, decided to drop down to the 50K this weekend. So he hasn't really been doing 50K prep, let's put it that way. He was prepping for 100K this weekend, coming out of some wintry trails out east. He was very happy with the idea that he'd be done before about 9:30 this morning, and hopefully done before it gets too hot. But I do think that, you know, getting a chance to race a bunch of fast guys with a spot to go to OCC or CCC at the end of the summer after going to Austria to race Worlds in June is a pretty okay summer.
Land the drone, Addie, land that drone. Perfect.
And we expect Hayden, I think, in the next 3 to 4 minutes, and then right behind him should be Jeshrin Small finishing here in Auburn, California. So we will be keeping our ears open here. We're only about 100 feet or so from the finish line, from where we're sitting on stage. So I do imagine that we will hear an eruption from that finish line as Hayden and Jeshrin make their way towards that finishing banner.
Yeah, and unfortunately we don't have live camera out there, folks. We're doing the best we can with this sort of bootleg live stream that we're doing, but we do hope to get the men's and women's champion from the 50K on stage with us for a short interview. Ethan, if you don't mind sharing my screen, I've got a great 18-minute clip of me running with the men's leaders from about mile 12.
Pat yourself on the back, Dylan Bowman.
It was about mile 12 to mile 15. I was with them. So, Ethan, great. I'm going to make it big, and I'm going to hit play. And the first athletes we're going to see here, well, we see Corrine there in the foreground, and then we're going to see David Roche, followed by Seb Spaler from France. So David Roche from Boulder, of course, a coach to many of the top pros in the sport. He's a phenomenal athlete himself, and I think has sacrificed his own running career in a lot of ways to be the great coach that he is. Here he is leading the race early. This is, again, roughly mile 12 or so. David crossing the road here. Corrine cheering him on. Seb Spaler just behind him. And then I jump on the train here, and we run with these guys for 7 or 8 minutes, I think. It's funny here. You'll notice Seb, and I hope the camera isn't too nauseating here and it stabilizes. Anyway, this is Seb Spaler from France, two-time winner of the Templier race, one of the most important races in all of Europe. It's sort of like the old North Face 50-mile championship. The equivalent of that in Europe happens in mid to late October every year in beautiful southern France. Hayden Hawks has finished, folks. We have an update. 3 hours, 32 minutes, 11 seconds for the new Boulderite. The Boulder boys continue to shred.
Their spring dominance. You know, we had Gorge wins, Chuckanut wins, Sonoma wins. The Boulder boys are definitely on fire right now. So Hayden Hawks has come across the finish line here in Auburn just about 2-3 minutes ago. And we'll expect Jeshrin to be in just a moment, maybe 3-4 minutes behind Hayden ultimately on the day. A really good run from him, and then we'll be expecting Matt Seidel and Eric LaPuma in the next 10 to 15 minutes as well. We'll have the top 4 men in here in very quick succession.
So I was just about to say, here I'm following Seb Spaler here, and sorry, it's not great stabilizing. We just got a brand new GoPro, and maybe I didn't have the settings right here, but hopefully this is fun for you all to watch, the follow cam behind the great French athlete. But it was hilarious, right when they crossed the road, and I jumped in behind Seb. He asked me, who is that guy? Who is that guy in first place? I said, oh, that's David Roche. David Roche. He said, oh, is he local? I said, no, he's from Boulder, Colorado. He's like, okay. So here I am making my move on Seb to go catch up to race leader David Roche, who I ran behind for a few minutes. David Roche, of course, a new father, also like me. I think their son Leo is probably about 6 months old. His wife Megan Roche, also an awesome athlete. I think just defended her PhD.
Yeah, so she's a doctor. Megan Roche is out there crewing David.
Overachievers,
with Leo in tow, I believe. So there's a bunch of baby boys bouncing around here. I can see Rhodes from the stage. Leo's out there. Lou's out there. Tyler and Rachel's son as Rachel makes her way through the 25K today. So yeah, there are a lot of baby boys bouncing around right now.
Amazing. So fun.
It looks like
David Roche, where he's just holding that thing up, he's saying this is a 360 calorie gel when he held that up. So I think it might be one of those Spring Energy ones or something like that, but
it does. It looks like, and once again, these updates are going to come in kind of sporadically. But right now we've got a no hands split from Matt Daniels in the 100K.
In the lead?
In the lead.
Wow.
So it's possible. Yep, it looks like Matt Daniels in the lead with Sebastian Spellia right behind him.
So I just had Matt Daniels on the podcast, and he, of course, was just at our race, the Gorge Waterfalls 50K up in Oregon a couple of weeks ago, and had the most bizarre and remarkable performance ever. One of the craziest things I can remember witnessing myself.
He might be doing it again right now.
Yeah, well, he was 12 minutes back of the lead at Gorge Waterfalls at halfway, ended up winning by about 3 minutes. So he ran the second half of the race a minute a mile faster than anybody in the field. Absolute savage, one of the most talented athletes in the sport. And we did a podcast where we talked about the importance of just being patient and letting races come to you, letting them evolve on their own time, not forcing himself to kind of get in the lead, putting pressure on his own performance, but instead just trusting his talent and executing the way he knows how. So Matt Daniels looks like he is in the lead here today. Hopefully he is being patient, and hopefully he can continue that momentum after the Gorge Waterfalls victory.
Yeah, so once again, someone asked, are we having some timing issues out on course in the 100K? And it's very possible because, again, I think we're missing a David Roche split in this group. But right now it looks like we have 3 men through no hands 2. We are hopeful that David is in that group, I would say, because it feels weird to have his timing chip fall off the radar entirely. If that is the case right now though, it looks like Matt Daniels 1, Sebastian Spellier 2, Cole Watson right along Sebastian, so technically tied for second. They came through there together. We're waiting on Adam Mary, Simon Widman, Ellis Bland, Roberto Mastrado. But so that is my question. I think we're gonna have some of that over the course of the day as we follow along with the live trackers. They can be a little bit hit or miss.
So this is where I peel off from the leaders and go back and catch the chase group here. So you're gonna notice a pack of 4 athletes coming up from behind here in about 40 seconds, I would guess. While we wait for them, I just wanted to set the context for those who are just joining us. This is not live footage. This is from earlier this morning. We showed you the drone footage from about 5:50 a.m. This is from about 6:50 a.m. It was a beautiful morning near Cool, California. At this point, we're about a mile out from that aid station, which for the runners on the course is roughly mile 14 and a half. So now I'm going back to catch this chase pack, and here they are. That's Adam Mary from Boulder, Colorado. Cole Watson from Sacramento. That's Simon Widman, a German athlete who lives and trains in Vancouver. And that's Matt Daniels from Boulder, Colorado, who we were just talking about. So now I carry these guys all the way through the aid station and a bit beyond. So we're just going to go ahead and continue letting this play
And so people like we're chatting with folks in the YouTube live chat, and it sounds like Rachel Long has been kind of trying to. It sounds like we're having issues at Browns Bar too. It seems like both David Roach and David Laney's trackers didn't pick up there, and so it might take a while. I imagine we'll get a split from them at potentially at No Hands too. All of a sudden is my guess. Sometimes it'll miss a split and then it'll catch back up. So that is my hope, is that their trackers will actually get picked up at one of those next checkpoints. We don't think that anything has happened to either of the Davids, and that they're probably still in that mix right now. On the women's race, it looks like Priscilla Forgy has moved into the lead at Browns Bar.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like Priscilla in first, Arroyo Seo in second, Anna McKinney in third, Eda Nilsson in fourth, Addie Bracey in fifth, Brianna Grigsby in sixth right now. So that means Naomi Brand has moved back, and that means Eda Nilsson has also moved back through that group, with Priscilla Forgy leading the women's race and potentially leading by about 7 minutes or so at Browns Bar 2. The chase pack behind her is all within 2 minutes of each other, so second, third, and fourth and fifth are all really within 2 minutes of each other. So there's it's Priscilla off the front by about 6 or 7 minutes, and in a chase pack, it looks like about 4 or 5 athletes in those second to fifth positions in the women's race. We'll keep checking up on that men's race as well as we try to get No Hands 2 splits. David Laney's tracker has now come through No Hands 2, so David Roach's tracker is the one that we're trying to keep an eye on here to see if that one will update.
This was the first time the sun hit the runners this morning.
Oh,
it's
that's
beautiful.
such a great
Look at that.
shot.
Wow, this is so great. I'm so glad this turned out.
Someone mentioned in the live chat that while this is not live footage, it's delayed footage.
Yeah.
Like, how nice is it to have like actual running footage
Hey,
from the race this morning?
I want to give a massive shout out to Ethan Vosberg, who's our guy behind the scenes. He just came and grabbed my phone from me, and he said, hey, if I can get a phone, I can get live footage from the finish line. So again, we are building the plane while it flies. Big shout out to the boy wonder. 20 years old, Ethan Vosberg. He's a critical piece of the Western States broadcast, and here he is helping us out here with Canyons here today.
Yep, and after the top 3 men finish, they need to take a photo at the finish line. We'll get Hayden after that point to come up here and give us a post-race interview. Excited to hear from the new Boulderite Hayden Hawks about his win here today and where his season's going to take him. I know that he's got a lot of UTMB races on his calendar, and I'm really excited to see him race a bunch this year and hopefully race really successfully. Like, we're waiting for him to have his day at Western States, and it's like, is 2023 his year? Like, very much could be.
Fun anecdote for me chasing these guys this morning. Cole Watson, who's in the blue kit, who's sitting second in this pack of 4, he has a fish on the back, like a fish decal on the back of his pack. We were talking on the pro panel on Thursday about how he's a passionate angler. He's a fisherman. And the fish that he has on his pack is a barracuda. And I think he said a predator of the shallows. So I think Cole Watson is channeling the barracuda energy out here on the Canyons 100K course. And of course, as we mentioned, he is a local boy. He grew up in Oregon, but represents Sacramento area proudly, trains on these trails. If you haven't checked out our training video that we did with him earlier this week, make sure you do so. It's on the Free Trail YouTube channel. You can check it out once we're done today. Just got a text from Harmony. Looks like another update. Third male, it looks like we're in Speedlands. That's probably Ryan Becker, almost at Roby Point. Anyway, more updates coming soon.
Yeah, so right now, Hayden Hawks is your men's winner of the 50K. We've got Jeshrin should be coming into that finish line. His split hasn't updated yet on the live tracker. Waiting on Matt Seidel, Eric Lapuma, Nick Handel. Ryan Becker should be in that mix as well. It's possible his tracker's not working, and Ryan Becker is higher than we anticipate him via the live tracker to be, but we know that he is very, very fast. This would be his third potential 50K podium this spring already if Ryan Becker is indeed in that mix. His tracker could very much not be working. Would not surprise me. So
Ryan Becker, great young athlete, lives in Telluride now. He's been training in Marin County for the last few weeks. He was second at Gorge Waterfalls, second at Way Too Cool. See if he pulls off another podium here today. Here was a little braided trail action where Cole Watson took left. Everybody else went right. It was a wash that we got a chuckle out of. So these runners now are approaching the aid station. Again, this is from about 6:50 a.m. this morning, a pack of 4. If you're just joining us, At this point in the race, these runners were sitting in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th behind race leaders David Roche and Seb Spaler. Of course, that has changed now, but just setting the context for the footage that we're watching. They're about to enter the Kool-Aid station for the second time. And I carry them through and out the other end of the Kool-Aid station too. So we've got plenty more footage that we're going to carry here. Ethan, our producer behind the scenes, is heading towards the finish line to, I think, try and get us some live footage of that finish line. So
yeah, and our it's very possible that our nothing on the live trackers makes sense to me right now. It's very possible that Eric LaPuma just finished in second. It looks like that's what it currently says on my thing. So we're not sure.
We'll confirm when we can.
We'll confirm, but it looks like we at least have another male finisher in. Jeshrin's tracker still says imminent. I can't see the finish line from here. I have no idea what's happening.
As we say on the Western States broadcast too, if you are out on the course and somehow watching us and you have accurate information, please do throw a text.
Drop it in the chat.
Or
text
in the
us.
chat. Yeah, throw us a text or DM. Drop it in the chat. We definitely are available for the accurate information from the race course. We do crowdsource on-course correspondence. So, all right, check this out. All right, this is cool too. 3rd through 6th coming in here. We notice many of them go for their crew, and our guy, Simon Widman, a.k.a. Random Baller, potentially, just cruises straight through, doesn't even stop. Time will tell whether that was an intelligent move or not, but I stick with our guy, Simon, here again, German athlete who lives and trains in Vancouver, BC. Adam Mary said he was also at Chuckanut. Not sure where Simon finished at Chuckanut. I don't know if that's something you could look up. But
I can definitely find that.
Look how beautiful it was out there this morning. I think I could improve the stabilizing settings on our new GoPro, so that's on me. But you live and you learn. You always got to screw things up before you figure it out. But man, beautiful, beautiful footage here of these runners cruising through again. This was about mile 14 and a half. So I let Simon go here, and then I jump on the train with, that's me saying, oh my gosh, ripping tempo intervals.
People watching this are like, wait, Dylan, how are you in 2 places at once?
Yeah.
Well, it's because we were out on the course filming this all this morning before we came back here where we have internet.
Yeah.
And we have internet because what, Dylan? Because we ran 400 feet of Ethernet cable from the newspaper.
Oh, we got to give a shout out to the Auburn Journal, who sits just behind us here, our neighbor. We went in there the other day.
Knocked on the door yesterday morning.
We did not have reliable internet the first day. So if you watch the pro panel, it wasn't the greatest viewing experience if you're watching digitally. And we were a little bit flummoxed as to how we could remedy the internet situation, knowing that we wanted to provide a lot of great coverage here this weekend. We went and knocked on the door of the Auburn Journal, local newspaper here that's been around forever, and said, hey, we're trying to do some journalism here around the Canyons by UTMB trail races this weekend. Would you allow us to bootleg your internet a little bit? And without hesitation, they agreed to let us run 450 feet of Ethernet cables all the way to our little studio here. So shout out to the Auburn Journal. Subscribe to your local newspapers.
They are single-handedly our sponsor for today's non-live live coverage. Thank you, the Auburn Journal.
Yeah. So again, this is Adam Mary here from Boulder, Colorado. Another great up-and-coming athlete, part of the Boulder Boys crew that's taken the world by storm right now. Adam Mary just came off a victory at the Chuckanut 50K where he ran, I think, Okay, we just have word from Harmony Bowman, our great producer behind the scenes, that Heather Jackson is about to finish and win the 50K in the women's race.
Just for those of you watching at home, or you can hear our voices because you're sitting near us, the trackers are well off then, because her estimated tracker has a 24 minutes till finish time, and it sounds like Heather Jackson is imminently going to be crossing the finish line here in Auburn, California, making it a great first ever 50K for her.
Amazing.
And then second in that race should be MK Sullivan, maybe Tessa Chesser in third in that race. So we'll be giving updates as we get them on the women's and men's podiums from the 50K as the trackers get themselves sorted out a little bit. We can't see the finish line from here.
Yep.
We're so close yet so far. So once we get those updates, we will make sure that we tell y'all about them.
So there goes Adam Mary. Then I'm going to jump on the next train. So that Adam Mary at that point was at 4th position. And here I turn around and we see, here I am talking to the camera saying, oh my goodness.
Dylan was accidentally cracked this morning. I think you put in 9 miles chasing people.
Yeah.
You had your sweatshirt tied over your shoulders.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, awkwardly sweaty, you know, trying not to tear a hamstring. Not sure what I'm saying here other than just like tempo. Here we lay our eyes on David Laney for the first time. So this is a pack of Cole Watson, Matt Daniels, David Laney coming up the hill just outside of Cool. I'm going to jump on this train. And I tried to, in just a second here, you'll see, I tried to get in front of them and get some like front cam action. I'm not sure how that turned out, but I guess we'll find out together.
Just blindly filming over your shoulder. David Laney looked really calm and collected when I saw him at mile 12. He asked what position he was in, and we kind of joked that, hey, it's only 100K today, because he was supposed to do the 100 mile. Yep. Drop down to the 100K because he wanted to be where the competition was. Really cool to see him rubbing shoulders with these guys. Still, like, he's
Dave Laney, man, he was Ultra Runner of the Year in 2012.
Remember when he
was
like, cool, yeah, I'm gonna crush Western States
He's
and
still
UTMB.
Only like 33, 34 years old.
No, and I feel like this is a re-emergence of David Laney. I feel like he crushed it so hard for a number of years and really had to like back off and like fix some things.
Look at the shot! Look at the shot! If only that Free Trail logo on my hat was showing a little bit better.
Yeah, too bad that.
It's a reminder to our viewers here. Make sure you smash the subscribe button.
Also, I want to say that we showed up to run backwards on the course this morning without operational headlamps. Like total noobs.
Yeah, we salvaged it though, Corrine. It was a bit of a fire drill to start, but we salvaged it. Oh, look at this shot, folks. Come on. I got to pat myself on the back for this one. Oh, here I pull over so Mike McMonigal doesn't have to get me in his frame. So there goes Cole Watson, Dave Laney, and Matt Daniels. So I think this clip is going to start winding down here. Hopefully kept you guys entertained there for a little while.
It sounds like they're not releasing any of the men's podium until the women's podium's in. So we will be trying to collect Hayden Hawks and Heather Jackson together from the finish line once the women's podium is in behind her.
Maybe we could get them up here together. That would be great.
That would actually be really awesome. Little Hoka duo. I can step off and get more bevies, and
yeah,
you can.
If you need to grab a bevy, I can fill some time. 420 so people watching us right now. This is great. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday wherever you are. Oh, here's our guy. This is Ellis Bland, who our good friend Rosie Holiday sent me a DM about today. Hashtag random baller potential from the UK, out here on a scorching day in Northern California. Shout out Ellis Bland and all his fans over in the UK. Okay, that was the end of that clip, so I'm going to go ahead and shrink. And I don't know how to control these screens, so
you have no idea. We'll need our tech help, Ethan, to come help us.
Corinne's clip of Ida here. Okay, great. So we got a 6-minute, 45-second clip of Corrine running with the women's leaders here.
Yes, this is going to be Ida Nilsson this morning. She was leading coming into mile 12. It seems like she's maybe faded back a little bit in that top kind of 5 women's group, but she looked really solid coming in here. I was able to hop on the Ida Nilsson train. Probably the only time I'll run this close to her ever, to be completely honest with you, because she is such a crusher. But look at this. Look at the sun, Dylan, on this. Look at the sun on Ida Nilsson as we head down this hill.
Awesome. Okay, so we do have a camera on the finishing chute. Ethan Vosberg, Boy Wonder, coming in clutch. And yeah, Corrine, pat yourself on the back. Look at this shot here. So this again,
Corrine
roughly
Malcolm,
mile 12.
content creator,
multifaceted, podcaster, broadcaster, GoPro operator.
New GoPro operator.
Soon to be drone pilot, probably.
You know, if you can't, you got to join them, right?
So Ida Nilsson, of course, the Swede. For those who are unfamiliar with Ida Nilsson, she ran collegiately at Northern Arizona University. She's a master's athlete now.
She's in her 40s.
Early 40s.
She also has come back from a mega foot injury.
Like
she was
5 years ago, she was unbeatable.
Oh my
She
goodness!
won
If
Zagama,
Ida was on the start
Transvolcania.
line, you were like, cool. Like,
She won TNF 50.
who's fighting for second?
Once or twice, I can't remember.
Had the rim to rim to rim. FKT, insanely talented, insanely fast, had a mega foot injury, took her out for 2.5 years. She got on the start line last year at Worlds in Thailand and mixed it up with Blondine Elhadran, who's like arguably the best 50 mile to 100K runner in the world, I would say right now, and fought with her all day long, ultimately finishing second there. And she's like, cool, I think I'm actually back in this thing. I think I can be a racer again. Really cool. She stuck her nose in it at Black Canyon. Her and Heather Jackson controlled much of the early part of that race. She ultimately faded back a little bit. She's been doing most of her training on skis, even up until recently, living in Norway. But, super, super impressive to watch her run. She was looking super smooth this morning. She's kind of one of those runners that has that try hard face. Yep. Even when she's running smooth and relaxed, she still looks like she's trying really hard.
At Black Canyon, she had that try-hard face on so much, and it was such a fantastic race there at Black Canyon between Keely Henninger, Heather Jackson, and Ida Nilsson. Ida, of course, was the one who faded near the end, ultimately finished 4th place, and she's back here in the US of A, going after that golden ticket once again. And when Ida Nilsson is on, she is very, very hard to beat. And it's great to see her back in the lead here, at least in the early miles. Although, according to the tracker, again, we're not entirely sure how accurate the tracker is right now. But it looks like if the tracker is accurate, that Ida has slowed down a little bit, or is at least behind some of the other top women in the race today. Yeah,
slotting back a little bit as opposed to being off the front in those early, really fast miles. Remember, she comes from an NCAA cross-country background, an NCAA steeplechase background. She's incredibly fast on the flat. She's great in the hills, but I think that those early miles are so quick that I think and she's a very tall runner too. I think her natural gait and cadence is probably going to just put her out in front a little bit on some of that terrain, and so no surprise there. Oh, we've got a split screen now to the finish line.
Oh my goodness.
Ethan,
How
boy,
many split
wonder.
screens can we have? Oh my gosh.
So many split screens.
Oh, again, this broadcast has been duct taped together, coming together at the very last moment. So I hope you're all enjoying it. And yeah, big shout out to Ethan Vosberg behind the scenes, who's really doing the heavy lifting and the hard work, and without whom we could not execute, because I am inept with technology, and really my only skill is sitting here and chatting.
And that's why we bring on the people who know how to do it, because we sure as heck don't.
So again, this is Ida Nilsson, probably roughly mile 13 early this morning. Probably about a minute left in this clip, and then
yeah,
we'll
and
catch some more of the women's
I
podium.
sent a text to you all, and I said, hey, Ida's a ways out. I'm going to run backwards to go find the next woman, and went backwards to find Priscilla, who we believe is currently leading the women's race, actually by 5 or 6 minutes, the athlete out of Edmonton, Alberta. For those Canadians watching at home right now.
The Canadians are on fuego right now.
So it's the Boulder boys, and it's the Canadian women.
Unfortunately, we just saw Marianne Hogan post this week that she's got an unfortunate stress fracture injury that's probably going to put her out for much of the summer season at least.
Yeah, I would say that one's a complicated one as far as like healing and rehabbing. It's a pubic rami stress fracture. I had a stress reaction there 2 years ago and a stress fracture nearby. So it's a hard injury to deal with. There's so many things that insert and connect there, and it was an overcompensation issue. People in the chat are worried about David Roach. You know what? We are too. We just think his tracker's not working. As soon as we have an update for you all, we will let you know.
Real quick. Okay, so this is another roughly 7-minute clip that Corrine took this morning. I'm realizing that might be confusing. So what you see on the left-hand side of your screen is from about 6:50 to 7 a.m. this morning. This is Priscilla. what's her last name? Forgy. So this is Priscilla Forgy.
She can correct us when she finishes.
Who at the time was running in second place. So that was from earlier this morning. That's on the left. On the right is actually live footage of the finish line.
Because
just
we've got
about 100 meters
25K
from where
runners
we are
coming
now.
in. We've got 50K runners coming in.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool.
So,
I mean, the course changes were hard for people, but I think having everyone start and finish here is pretty darn special. 100-mile runners actually coming in right now as well.
So we're live on the right, delayed on the left.
And that
just so
delayed
our
footage
audience
again
knows.
is this morning. I was chatting away with Priscilla. There were baby ducks right there in the creek. It was really cool. She was moving really, really smooth on the trail, and we believe that she is currently leading the women's race now over around the 50K mark, past the 50K mark, and we think that she's got a 5 or 6 minute lead over a chase pack of 3 or 4 women.
Yeah. Funny story from this morning. I got a little clip of Priscilla early on
on
as
the
they
road,
went through
yeah.
cool one. And I asked her what her name was. She said, "I'm Priscilla. I'm from Canada." She said, "Are you Adam?" I said, "No, I'm Dylan." She said, "Oh," she was so embarrassed.
And then she's like, and Dylan got it all on camera. I felt so bad.
So Priscilla, new name to me. Off to the races here today, potentially chasing a golden ticket. Looking super strong here. Roughly a half marathon into her race today.
I'm so proud of my filming.
Yeah. Not to brag, but we crush it on the GoPro
Ryan
operation.
Thrower, hire me.
Pretty sure Ryan got some good footy too, which probably won't make it onto the broadcast, but we'll go into some YouTube video after the fact.
Yeah, so really, really cool running out there, out at Cool this morning. Again, yeah, that lower left-hand side of your screen is this morning footage from the runners as they headed back into Cool for the second time, kind of mile 13, 14 or so of the 100K race. And that upper right-hand screen, again, is the finish line here in Auburn with your 25K runners, your 50K runners, and your 100-mile runners who are still working their way to the finish. And again, the 100-mile runners have been out there for 25 hours. The attrition rate is well over 50%. They survived the heat, I think barely, yeah. We got confirmation. Barely survived the heat out there. Congratulations, number 67.
Congratulations. Yeah, we're surrounded by some post-trail race wreckage around us here in the expo area. Want to give here our clip is finished, so let's find our next one.
Which will probably be
Corrine
3 and 4 together, yeah. Again, this is Anna McKinney, the Australian, and going to be ArroyoCio, the Spanish athlete, the Spanish craft athlete. They were running together.
So Anna McKinney,
in the blue
Kiwi,
shorts,
right? Or Aussie?
Aussie. Anna McKinney and ArroyoCio there in the craft singlet. Spaniard, yeah.
And Arroyo, she won here last year, didn't she? Or she was second?
She got a golden ticket.
She was second, I think, behind Jasmine Lothar.
Was she second or third?
Second or third.
Did Leah Yingling catch her? Leah, are you listening? Let us know if you caught her last year.
This is one of those things that should be encyclopedic for us, Corrine. I'm a little embarrassed we don't know that off the top of our head. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was Jasmine, Arroyo, Leah last year.
I'm going to find out right now. But yeah, followed these two women. They looked really, really steady. You see ArroyoCio there she was taking in some calories. Anna McKinney, the Australian. So all these women, and then the woman that's behind them, Naomi Brand, I think in this next shot. Those 3 women were all at Tarawera. They all just missed out on a golden ticket there. I think they were 3rd, 5th, and 6th because Amanda Basham was 4th. Amanda Basham not racing this weekend after kind of a tough spring of very close calls at both Bandera in January and then Tarawera in February.
It was Jasmine, Leah, Arroyo at Canyon, so I got the 2nd and 3rd mixed up. But Arroyo back for her 2nd time. And I guess we should clarify also, this year's course is different from last year's course. The mosquito fire unfortunately ripped through here in the Sierra foothills and on the Western States
burning
course
15,
on much of the Canyons course.
15 miles a course between Cal 2 and Devil's Thumb, essentially. So if you're familiar with the Western States course, so that area is indescribably different feeling right now. It is a huge burn scar. They're still working on taking down hazard trees. The 100-mile runners did make it all the way to Forest Hill, so they got to see a little bit of that on their run yesterday. But they're working really, really hard to get it ready for Western States. There's a couple volunteer days coming up to work on clearing more hazard trees from that 15-mile stretch of trail.
I think that the course alteration is not only because of the fire damage, but also because of the snow.
The snow. There's a ton of snow. So normally this race, as of the last couple of years, finishes all the way up at the China Wall staging area, which is kind of a big parking lot way out past Forest Hill. Last year they finished in snow and slush up there. It's been a huge snow year in California, like much of the West. And I think between the burn scar and the snow out there, they decided that this reroute had to happen. And there's a lot of fast looping to be had out there. The 100K course we anticipate to be faster despite the heat. The 100-mile course was definitely faster. I think it cuts the total climbing in the 100K by about 6,000 feet or so. The course over the last couple of years, I think, has had about 16,000 feet or so of climbing. This year, it'll come in right around 10,000 feet of climbing. So
should be faster, even though it's a hot day.
Even though it's expected to be close to 90
like it
degrees
just got
today.
Warmer, doesn't it, Corrine?
Oh, we were sweating up here yesterday. I anticipate we'll be sweating here in a little bit as well.
One of the things that we said earlier that we could reemphasize now as we talk about snowfall and heavy precipitation this winter here in Northern California is that the course is in great shape, at least the miles that we were running on this morning. Good, soft, tacky trail. Obviously, green grass galore. In probably a month's time, it's going to be more golden brown. Runners get to enjoy the green foliage of spring here in Northern California today. It's not super wet, but the trails are in great condition. A lot of people have been talking about their allergies this week too. I think everything is kind of blooming this time of year.
Things are definitely blooming. It's everything's blossoming. You've got flowers. You've got they're purples and yellows and oh my god, it's the super bloom. Of course, things are popping out there.
So again, we're watching some clips from earlier this morning. As soon as we're kind of done getting through there, we're gonna probably go back to the tracker and see what we can learn. Eventually, we're going to try and get the winners and maybe other podium finishers from the 50K and 100-miler to come join us on stage for short interviews. So do stick around for this jerry-rigged broadcast that Free Trail is putting together with super glue and duct tape and a lot of enthusiasm from Corrine.
Yeah, we realized 6 or 7 days ago that we had to figure out something to do today, and this is what we did. So
I mean, I love this idea, and maybe it's something we can scale in the future. Just go out, get footage, come back to a place with reliable internet, go live, share the footage, share the tracker, keep people informed and entertained throughout the weekend. So that was our third clip from Corrine. That was the third and fourth place women from earlier this morning. Let's go one more here.
And it looks like, and this should be a shorter clip, and it'll be fifth and sixth. It's going to be Naomi Brand, followed by Addie Bracey. It should be pretty short on both those women there. They weren't that far apart, trying to step out of the way of the cameras out on course.
Naomi Kiwi, right?
Yeah. No, South African.
South African. Lives in New Zealand?
Lives in New Zealand,
Yep.
but I believe is South African
Yep.
because she ran UTCT 100-mile this year and got to come home to do it, and that was a big deal.
Top finisher at Tarawera a couple of times too, so I think she may split time between South Africa and New Zealand, if not lives full time.
Super strong athlete. So that's who the camera this is delayed footage again from this morning following Naomi Brand. I got around the corner, saw the Nike photographers there. I knew Addie Bracey was behind me and didn't want to run into their shots, so I turned around, got a quick shot of Addie Bracey, and then got out of there. But yeah, Naomi Brand, this is just before they come back into Cool for their second time through their mile 14, seeing their crews for the first time in about 7 or 8 miles. And the last time they'll see their crews until mile 48. No crews between mile 14 and 48. That
Maybe
is
in a little bit
massive.
We'll share screen on the aid station chart.
Yeah,
so
this
people
is
can
me
check
going
that
back
out.
to find Addie Bracey there.
There's Addie.
And I didn't want to get in the way of anyone, so just a quick shot of Addie Bracey there. And she's going to make her way towards her crew in that aid station. She's going to run around the corner. And I think that's it from our morning footage.
Okay, cool. Fun story about Addie while we're talking about her. Ethan, you can take that left-hand screen off if you want. We can go just split screen between the finish line and us here in studio. If you can hear me. Not sure you can. There you go. Thanks to Ethan Vosberg. What I was going to say about Addie Bracey, again, I just had Matt Daniels on the podcast, and he shared a fun story that I thought was maybe worth sharing here also about Addie Bracey, Matt Daniels, and Hayden Hawks. Again, Hayden Hawks has just won the 50K here in the men's race on his way back to Western States in about 8 weeks. Matt Daniels shared a fun story with me that I wasn't aware of. Maybe you knew, but it was, I think, back in 2016 or so when they were all younger, less experienced trail runners. And
Addie was training with Brad Hudson,
yeah,
right?
so Hayden Hawks had come to Boulder to train with the group that Addie was training with, who I think was, trying to be a road marathoner, more or less. Matt Daniels said that Addie was sort of on the precipice of potentially retiring from the sport altogether. Hayden Hawks came to town, started training with Addie and Matt Daniels, said, hey, I'm going to go for this World Mountain Running Team, Team USA, that year, before he ended up doing speed goat and sort of shocking the world and making a name for himself and becoming one of the best in the world and a household name in the sport. And apparently Hayden Hawks persuaded Addie Bracey and Matt Daniels to also go out for the mountain running team that year. All three of them made the team, and then they took home the gold medal that year. So a fun story from three of our great American athletes, three all Boulder, Colorado residents at this point. Hayden, of course.
Addie spends a lot of time up in Leadville, I think. I think her and her mom own a property up there, which they get to spend a lot of time at. But excited to see Addie back racing here today. We do, I think, have a more clear picture of the men's podium in the 50K. Again, Hayden Hawks taking that win in 3:32:11. It looks like Jeshrin Small was second place in 3:34:47. So just 2.5 minutes back for like the young up-and-coming Colorado Gunnison guy.
Hey,
like
Ethan, you can share my screen with the results here too.
See if that will come up. Nope, we have dual.
He's working on it.
Dual finish lines.
Sorry to interrupt you, Corrine. You can go ahead.
Oh, no, not a problem. Yeah, so Hayden Hawks, we'll get those screens flip-flopped so the full results is big, I think. But Hayden Hawks in first, again, that 3:32:11 finish. Jeshrin Small in second, 3:34:47. That is a mega run for the young Colorado athlete. He posted a really adorable reel. I'm going to call it adorable. He's my younger teammate. I think I'm allowed to use those terms of endearment for him. But he got drug tested for the first time. He's like, you guys, I've made it. I got drug tested.
We should talk about it. Let's remember to talk about that.
Yeah, 100%. And then Eric LaPuma in third, Matt Seidel in fourth. So 3:45:30 for Eric LaPuma, Matt Seidel 3:46:44. So those guys, it seems, duked it out all the way to the finish line. We do believe that Nick Handel will be one of the, I think Nick Handel's tracker might be having an issue. It looks like Alexander Parker in 3:58:22, Chris Jones in 4:01:29, Mikel Moreto 4:03, Corbignon 4:09, kind of rounding out the men's top 10. And I do think that Heather Jackson finished in 10th or 11th overall. She finished in 4:09. What's the official clock stop on that? 4:09:36 for first place. MK Sullivan should be in here any moment. Nick Handel did in fact finish.
Nick Handel in the house.
Congratulations, Nick Handel. He's got a wedding that he's supposed to make
Newly
it to.
married.
Yeah, listened to a textbook, I believe, on audiobook for the entirety of that 50K.
Nice job, Nick.
Wave to the camera, Nick, as you walk by. Nick Handel, everybody.
Nick Handel.
Congratulations,
Great
Nick
work,
Handel.
Nick.
Emma was worried about you. You got to text her.
5th place.
I'll text Emma for you. Okay, cool. His wife texted me saying, hey, is Nick alive? His tracker's not working. Yeah, I said he's okay. So I'll make sure Emma knows that Nick has, in fact, made it through the finish line, but he did. He was going to listen to an audiobook on grasslands management today. So,
Nick Handel, one of those overachievers in the sport.
Yeah,
Again, newly
incredibly
married, just
smart
sold his
individual.
data science company, Silicon Valley CEO, trail runner, reading or listening to an audiobook about grasslands management during his 50K where he finished top 5. I wish I was half as talented as some of the people in this sport, Corrine.
Oh, I mean, yeah, multifaceted, multi-talented.
Okay.
I think it looks like Matt Daniels is through Mammoth Bar, and so we do believe that he is the men's race leader. He should be followed closely by Sebastian Cole, David Laney, Adam Mary, Simone Widman. Should be kind of those 2nd through 6th place position men. We still don't have an updated tracker on David Roach. We don't think anything's happened to him, but we don't have confirmation on that yet. So no panicking if you're in the viewing audience and you're a swapper at home trying to figure out what's happening. We do think that David is likely okay and moving and just having a tracker issue. But right now, Matt Daniels has come through Mammoth Bar. It looks like that tracker split is pretty delayed because he came through there 8 minutes ago. So more than likely, other men have come through Mammoth Bar, and it's just not updated yet. They have to update it manually on many parts of the course. We actually use ham radio on many of these places because there isn't a cell signal out there, and so likely the live trackers are going to be pretty slow to update as they are updated manually from the course.
We have another, quick update from the chat here. Liam Tryon, aka Aid Station Fireball, has said, any word on what happened to Ryan Becker? It shows that he dropped, but Debo said that he was spotted at Roby. That was reckless speculation on my part. Poor journalism here from your host of the broadcast here. So sorry if I passed on inaccurate information about Ryan Becker. He was actually complaining this morning about his Achilles. So
he's got kind of a chronic Achilles issue.
Yeah.
So wondering if that is in fact the case. His longtime partner is out running the 100K. She's running in the top 10 women right now, I think back in 8th or 9th position. And he definitely is supposed to get to crew duties pretty quickly. So he needs to make it out to the mile 48 mark to give her a hand after he makes it back here to Auburn. So hoping that Ryan Becker is okay, but it sounds like his Achilles might have been giving him a little bit of an issue this morning.
We got some action happening around us now. It's a little quiet when we started the broadcast.
It's picking up around
here. A lot of finishers coming in here to the expo area. Really fun to see.
Brett Hornig is closely following the tracker in the live chat. Cole Watson is also through Mammoth Bar. So again, those splits are in fact delayed because he came through there about 4 minutes ago, but he is just under 5 minutes back of Matt Daniels. We're a little bit biased. We're journalists, but we're like a tiny bit biased. And I think we would all really love for Matt and Cole to have great days and get golden tickets. But David Roach's tracker is alive, you guys. He's also through Mammoth Bar. So David Roach is okay. He is on course. So right now, Matt Daniels
5 minutes up.
5 minutes up on Cole Watson, and then 3 minutes behind Cole Watson, you have Sebastien Spellier of France. Again, he's gotten a golden ticket before. He wants to go back to Western States. He dropped out of Western States last year. David Laney just 4 seconds back of Sebastian. So Sebastian and David have been holding it together as Matt and Cole kind of moved up on them a little bit. But right now it looks like it's Matt Daniels followed by Cole Watson, Sebastien Spellier, and David Roach. Those are your top 4 men through Mammoth Bar, the 65-kilometer mark of today's Canyons Endurance Runs 100-kilometer race.
So 65K deep. That means they've probably got 23, 24 more miles to go here this afternoon. So Matt Daniels has made his move. It remains to be seen if it's too early. Again, he was just on the podcast and we urged him to be patient, but he is, of course, one of the great talents in the sport, former sub-4-minute miler.
Matt was patient. We saw him
I know. No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just, setting the context for the audience.
No, but I'm excited. Yeah. I'm so excited because at mile 12, he was, in 6th?
Yeah, he was in the pack of 3rd through 6th, and he was on the back of the pack, so he clearly was within himself. I mean, he's one of the most talented athletes in the sport. 13-time All-American at Adams State University.
Sub-4-minute miler.
Sub-4-minute miler. He was 4th place at Western States in 2019, ran like 15:20 or something on the Western States course. Silly fast time, one of the fastest ever. And he desperately wants to get back to Western States too. So.
Oh, I mean, and I think we all want to see him there. And then I think we all want to see, Cole Watson was able to get into Western States last year. He got a sponsor spot after coming up just short at Javelina. 100-mile race in 2021 ahead of the 2022 Western States. Got that sponsor spot in. Really wants to earn his way into Western States. Really wants that golden ticket opportunity into Western States. He has come up short 4 times, I believe, finishing between 3rd and 5th position in those races. Always 1 spot out of the golden ticket from where it rolls to in the men's top 5. So Cole Watson, local, lives in the Sacramento area. I think, runs on these trails. I think
here's a fun visual.
That'd be amazing.
Here's a fun visual and something we should talk about too, Corrine. So you'll notice Matt Daniels is getting to the top of that climb outside that Mammoth Bar aid station. And then when you get to the top, it's very much rolling compared to that first half of the course, right? Which is terrain that definitely suits a guy like Matt Daniels too. It should be a much faster second half.
The thing is though, is that this course change suits so many of these men. I think the original course of the last couple of years, that net uphill, that 17,000 feet of climbing, would have been harder on a lot of these guys. It would have gone to the toughie, to the grinder, to the person who might not have gone out too hot. This course today, the heat is definitely going to be a factor. It is going to start to get warm for these guys out there, but it's a fast course, and the guys that are leading this race, they all have legs. They all have road chops. They all, they didn't all run college cross country and track and field, but they are all very, very fast.
Yep.
What I'm saying is that it suits them incredibly well, which makes it kind of an exciting of like, who's going to handle the attrition of the heat in the middle of the day. They're 65K deep. They've got a ways to go. The course and terrain is fast, but the heat is going to start. They're going to start to feel it in a big way over the next couple miles.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely getting warmer out there. So.
Yeah, the trackman's been all over the place.
Yeah, so Dave Roach is
He's fourth. Yeah.
A lot of people worried about David Roche, both digitally and
he's still in it.
here at the
trackers have
expo.
been kind of all over the place.
Can you check Charlie Lilliver as well?
We're broadcasting
name?
live on YouTube right now.
Oh, really?
Right here.
Yeah. No, it's okay. But what you're gonna want to do is you can go to live.utmb.world and you can search for the
Anyway,
right there.
where were we here,
Yeah.
folks?
Yeah, not a problem.
So let's go back to,
We're the Ask Us desk this morning. It's good.
yeah, we are customer service.
But yeah,
All right,
Mammoth
so let's
Bar,
check
4
out the
men through
women's
Mammoth
top 10
Bars.
here. So again, Priscilla Forgy, aka Random Baller, Canadian, coming here to Northern California, unseasonably record-breaking warm day, running in the lead in front of Swedish athlete icon Ida Nilsson.
Yeah, so interestingly, right, Ida was kind of in this chase group of 4 women at that last checkpoint at Browns Bar 2. She is now the second athlete to come through no hands too. So Priscilla Forgy right now in the lead. She's got about a 4-minute lead over Ida Nilsson. Again, these women are at the 59-kilometer mark. No one else, it looks like, has come through that no hands checkpoint as of yet on the live tracker. But that does mean that Ida potentially has moved up out of that chase pack of Arroyo Seco, Anna McKinney, Addie Bracey. And so to me, it's like, I'm really curious to see those splits from women 3, 4, and 5 to kind of know all these women want that golden ticket.
Yep.
Right? There's like, that is like very much on the line here. No one in the race has a golden ticket into Western states yet. And
Yep.
so, that to me is very, very curious.
Do you think David Roche would take the ticket?
I think
of all the
think
people
so.
that are contending right now, he's the only one
he's
who
the
I
maybe.
don't know who would absolutely take it. Yeah.
You're right. I don't know if he knows yet.
Yeah.
I don't know that he knows yet, is what I would say. But again, so what we're going to be looking for is our next couple women to come through no hands 2 in the 100K. And again, that's Priscilla Forgy leading the athlete out of Edmonton, Alberta. Kind of coming, I think that while she was maybe not a known contender to many of us, she's definitely known to the Canadian contingent, and the Canadian women in particular have been on a roll this spring at the Golden Ticket races. So Priscilla currently leading that race. It looks like Naomi Brand has also come through no hands too. So right now we've got Priscilla Forgy, Ida Nilsson, Naomi Brand, Canada, Sweden, New Zealand. New Zealand via South Africa, I believe, for Naomi Brand. 1, 2, and 3. It looks like Priscilla Forgy has about a 5-minute lead over 4 or 5 minutes over Ida Nilsson, and then Naomi Brand now through there about 2 minutes back of Ida in third. So waiting on Arroyo Seco, the craft athlete racing from Spain, and then Anna McKinney, the Solomon athlete from Australia, should be 4 and 5, with Addie Bracey, the Nike athlete, the Colorado athlete, looking to be in that 5th or 6th position. On the men's side, we still don't have an update of any more men through Mammoth Bar. Again, the 65K event. Dylan, just to update you, Naomi Brand is also now through no hands. So 1, 2, and 3 through that no hands to that 59-kilometer mark on the women's side, and no new men through Mammoth Bar yet on the men's side. But I imagine that will update, and we'll get a quick 5 through 10 pretty quickly.
Okay, so just an update on the production front. We're going to try and get both Hayden Hawks and Heather Jackson, our champions in the 50K, to come up on stage with us at some point in the near future. And then I've just been informed that they are going to be using our stage for the awards at noon, which means
So
we will have
be,
to
we'll
vacate.
be evicted
we will be done
at noon.
by noon.
That's fine.
So
I think
we'll probably
that's
wrap
totally
up in,
fine.
I don't know, maybe about an hour. So if you guys want to
I see Rod Farvard. Congratulations, Rod Farvard.
Yeah.
You can't hear me. Welcome back to racing, buddy.
I think that's Matt Seidel, too.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Sorry, there's a lot going on all around us here as they get ready for awards, as people come in. We know that our top 3 men, top 3 women. Actually, do we have final splits yet from our women's podium in the 50K?
Oh, good idea.
Keeping our eyes on that.
Here we go. Let me find my 50K. All right. Here we go, Corrine. I've got it up here. Heather Jackson, your champion in the 50K, finishing in 4 hours, 9 minutes, 36 seconds. Again, tracker issues here. Katriana Jennings, not sure if she is in fact our second place
No, we've
woman.
got a finisher time
Yeah,
from
MK
MK Sullivan, 4:17:50 on the clock. So we definitely have MK Sullivan in. And the question is Katriana Jennings also in as well, waiting on Robin Lesh and Tessa Chesser, I believe, in those 4 and 5 positions too.
Pretty healthy 8-minute gap for Heather Jackson.
Yeah, that's a solid win.
It's
A
so
4:09
amazing.
on this
Doing
course.
probably 60-70% of her training on a bicycle.
Yeah, she just won the Belgian waffle ride down in SoCal, right? Like incredibly. Oh, she was just at Sea Otter. She just
Yeah.
did the
mountain bike
XL,
race
the Fuego XL at Sea Otter. Classic early season mountain bike festival in general.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, there's now a really exciting off-road bike tour called the Lifetime Grand Prix, which is a mix between gravel racing and mountain biking. And Heather Jackson is competing in the Lifetime Grand Prix. So she was...
While doing this.
She's been ripping her bike at various races. She did the Mid-South race where she finished 3rd. She did the Belgian Waffle Ride where she won.
Yeah, and those are not within the Grand
No,
Grand
they're
Prix
not.
series.
Sea Otter
but-
was, I think, the season opener for the Grand Prix. And I know Heather was not necessarily...
Well, she
super psyched.
said she was the first graveler. Like
Yeah,
she wasn't
yeah.
like the first gravel cyclist out of a bunch of mountain bikers on that race course.
Unbelievable. So opening her season with an incredible second place performance at Black Canyon, just behind Keely Henninger, under the established course record.
And
now
we-
winning here at Canyons 50K, looking ahead towards Western States.
Oh.
Heather Jackson is going to be one of the major
So
stories
exciting.
of the
Oh,
day.
and I see MK Sullivan. Congratulations, MK Sullivan.
Second place finisher in
Third.
the third
was
place
Katrina
finisher.
was Jennings? You don't know. That's okay. We'll
So,
it was a photo finish.
yeah.
You should have pushed her. It was a sprint. It looks
Great
like it was a
job.
sprint. Congratulations, MK.
Great job, MK.
We love you.
So
We're
that
live on
means that
YouTube and we love you.
Probably Katriana Jennings was our second place woman in the 50K. It's showing her in second place, but not as a finisher. She's an Irish athlete who
I
Corrine and I were
think she
talking
lives
about.
in Canada.
There's
Congratulations, Eric LaPuma.
coming to the
Congratulations, Rod
studio here.
Farvard.
Rod Farvard.
Congratulations, boys.
Way
Nice
to
work,
rip,
team.
boys.
YouTube loves you. We're live. Wave to the camera.
What's up? How's it going, buddy? Good. Good day. How's the leg feel?
Really good. Yeah. Hold up. Fine.
Yeah, it's Rod's first race back from fracturing his tibial plateau back this winter when he took an epic whoopsie on his skis. We love you, Rod.
Love you too, Corinne.
Glad to see you
Good job,
back
buddy.
racing.
Yep.
We do have an update in the men's 100K through Mammoth Bar. Again, that's 65-kilometer aid station. Adam Mary and David Laney are both through there now in 5th and 6th. In the mix, they're about, let's call it 3 to 3.5 minutes behind David Roach, who's currently in 4th place position. So again, that's Matt Daniels, Cole Watson, Sebastian Sperlier, David Roach, Adam Mary, David Laney are 1 through 6 in the men's race at the 65-kilometer mark, with Matt
Hayden
Daniels off
Hawks.
the front.
Hayden Hawks, can you join us on stage? Okay, take your time, but
Yeah.
don't leave without coming up for a few minutes.
Eventually, we need you.
My man.
Okay.
My man.
No pressure, man.
All right, so stay tuned, folks. For everybody watching us live, don't go anywhere. We will have men's champion Hayden Hawks joining us on stage here.
Hopefully, and
momentarily.
hopefully we'll be finding Heather Jackson as well.
He's got a Coca-Cola and a sparkling water double fisting.
And he looks fine.
He looks amazing. He's changed up. He's got his street clothes on.
Yeah. Unscathed. Eric LaPuma unscathed. Or not Eric LaPuma. Eric LaPuma maybe unscathed. Hayden Hawks definitely unscathed.
All right, so let's do a roundup of the Boulder Boys' domination recently. We had Adam Mary and Seth Ruling go first and second at Chuckanut. We had Matt Daniels take the win at Gorge Waterfalls 50K. We had Drew Holman smash it at Lake Sonoma 50.
Right now you've got Matt Daniels, David Roach, and Adam Mary all in the mix of this men's
and
100K.
Hayden Hawks now the Boulder Boys group. Come on, it's unfair.
It's a solid group. Jeshrin Smalls, congratulations, my man. Your teammates have been freaking out on WhatsApp all morning. Yeah, perfect. Did it come through to your watch?
Yeah, I was getting updates, sending emails.
Nice. Wave to YouTube.
Great job, man.
Wave to YouTube, Jesh. Yeah, just wave to YouTube. Jeshrin Smalls, everybody.
Hey,
Great.
Jesh, come sit with us for 5 minutes. We'll
Yeah,
do a quick
come up
interview.
here, Jesh.
We got to get to know you. All right, folks. Jeshrin Smalls here, our second place finisher in the 50K.
He's done no media prep, so this should be great.
Only
Jeshrin
2 minutes
Smalls.
back. Let's do a mic check. Check.
Oh, I'm really excited for this.
I've realized I've been starting a YouTube channel, low key.
Shout out your YouTube channel.
Yeah, tell
here.
everyone
You
about
gotta
your
hold the
YouTube
mic
channel.
close.
Yeah, hold it
Hold
real
the mic
close,
really
Josh.
close.
There you go, Josh.
So my YouTube channel is Small Jeshrin. It's low key right now, but I realized I'm a really bad talker, and I've realized that. But it's good. I feel bad for all the media people for Adidas Terex because I always feel like I'm speaking really well, but I realized it's just gibberish. half the
Don't be
time.
so hard on
It's
yourself,
good, though.
buddy.
We're vibing.
Don't be so hard on yourself. So we're gonna make you talk now. First of all, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah, tell
How old are
everyone.
you? What's your history in the sport?
My name's Jeshrin Small. I'm 25 years old. I'm originally from Golden, Colorado, and then moved to Gunnison for I went to school at Western Colorado University. I attended the mountain sports program, which you guys mentioned yesterday.
Super cool.
Yeah, amazing program. That's where I fell in love with the sport. And I mean, I always was in the mountains growing up, just trying to do like dumb stuff. But it was good to get to that program, get some structure. And then with Josh Eberly's guidance, we were able to start like slowly developing over the years. And then now we're at it. But it was a wonderful program. It gives an opportunity where if you want to run trails, free ride ski, Nordic ski, XC bike, skimo, downhill bike, climbing, it gives you the opportunity to compete at whatever level you want to be at. If you want to be really professional, you can do that. And if you just want to get out there and just have fun. And it was an amazing program. And from that, was able to start a relationship with doing my best.
Yeah.
Adidas Terex, and then joined with all the great teammates. And then, I felt like, today was good. It feels good to get a good result. Like I've never nailed.
Super good result.
Yeah.
Man. Super good result.
There was a while where Hayden's tracker wasn't working, and we're like, oh my God, Josh is gonna win it. We were freaking out.
Yeah, we thought you were in first place when we started our broadcast. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah.
What happened out there?
So, this morning was really good. We all got on the start line. I did a little research on like who was out there, who's going to be on the start line. So we all took off, and it was really nice. It was actually fairly chill, and we were all just having conversations. So the first like 10K, we were just. It makes it a lot easier. I was just thinking it was going to be similar to Formidable, where they did the first 5K sub 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, if that's the case, I got to hold back. But then I was like, looking at our watch, we were running like 6:10, and I was like, oh, this is good.
This is chill.
Yeah. And then we were talking about like just a bunch of stuff, just the London Marathon, the new almost world record, a bunch of other stuff. We were all chilling, having fun, just trying to like. Maybe we didn't do the research we needed to. We didn't know exactly what color to like follow.
Yeah, how was following the course out there?
Oh, it was perfect. I mean, if you knew which color to follow. So like we were thinking it was like pink. So like half of us would like go left, and then we were like, oh no, it's blue. Then we figured out it was blue. But we were all running in a group and we're all helping each other because it's part of the sport and you don't want to just take off and.
So were you in the lead at one point?
Yeah, so we were all running together, and then the second climb, that's where we started to space out, and then I think it was Matt, Hayden, and I going up that climb, and at that point I led the race from 10K to 28 miles, and then Hayden was...
So Hayden caught you at 5K to go?
Oh, yeah.
Take us into that moment.
Yeah, so we were running together. I'd say we were running together. Maybe at some points on the downhills, I had maybe 30 seconds in front of him. But then every climb, he's definitely a stronger climber than I am. And then, so I'd try to take, okay.
We'll give Jeshrin back in 2 minutes.
But yeah, there's Hayden. Should we get Hayden up here too?
Yeah, we'll get Hayden here in just a sec.
After we make you take a photo.
Tell us what happened. Tell us when.
But yeah, we were running the downhills. I was able to scout the course on Wednesday, so I kind of knew what to anticipate on both sides of the road. But yeah, I kept pushing, and I was like, I got to get to 20 miles, be in the lead, and then I kept trying to get a gap on the downhill because I knew. If I had 4 minutes at no hand bridge, then maybe I have a chance.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we started climbing, he took off, and I was like, I kept being like, I can get him, because he kept looking back, but I didn't get it.
He's one of the world's best, dude. You're 25 years old. That's a heck of a performance, man.
Yeah,
you should be super proud.
We'll see you at OCC, right?
Oh, yeah.
OCC ticket.
Hell
Sign.
yeah.
Bag secured.
Jeshrin Small, subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Instagram. This kid's the future. Thanks so much for coming on stage.
Jed.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Dylan.
Hey, nice work, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun talking about you. Go take a photo before they lose their minds.
Cool. We're going to grab, let's see, should we grab, hey, Heather, you want to come up for 5 minutes? We'll keep it short. Sure.
Yeah.
One picture in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Sorry, Heather.
Yeah.
We'll claim you in a second. At least they're taking the photos right next door to us. This is great.
How about Jeshrin, dude?
What
a good kid. This is awesome,
Jeshi,
man.
we love you.
All right.
People love your vibes in the
Go
YouTube
get
chat.
him, buddy.
Yeah, they love your vibes.
Heck yeah.
Bless up, Jeshrin.
Yeah, bless up. So hang tight, everybody. We're going to get Heather Jackson up here in just a sec. We'll get Hayden Hawks up here. We'll just do quick interviews
we've got
with them.
some updates from the women's 100K. We've got our top 5 through no hands too. So again, Priscilla Forgy leading the women's race. That's the athlete out of Edmonton, Alberta. Currently, she's got about a 4 or so minute lead over Ida Nilsson of Sweden, Naomi Brand of New Zealand, via South Africa in 3rd position, Arroyo Sio in 4th, and then Anna McKinney of Australia in 5th. And she's only 40 seconds behind Arroyo, so they've been running together for 60K at this point because they were running together when we saw them at mile 13. Naomi Brand has moved up a little bit on that group, only by about 30 seconds or so. So realistically, 3rd through 5th are all right together, and we expect that Addie Bracey is essentially right in that group as well. We do believe that there's a delay in the tracker and that her no hands 2 split should be pretty close. So top 5 for sure through no hands 2, waiting for Addie Bracey's split through there. Again, that's the women's race at kilometer 60 of the 100K here today. Golden tickets on the line for the top 2. And I think we have Heather Jackson walking into studio.
Heather Jackson, everybody. Join us on stage, the champion. Heather Jackson, we were just singing your praises here on the broadcast.
We've decided that you're the most interesting person in endurance sports right now.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're too kind.
Unbelievable. Your first 50K, you take home a victory. Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness, that was rough. That went out hot, and I didn't know if that was possible in trail running. I know I go out too hard every time. Well, the 2 times I've gone out, but this time there were a bunch of us together, and I was like, oh shit, this is on. It was so fun though. I mean, that was incredible, and also to get to run with other women and just push each other. And honestly, I knew it was mostly uphill to the far end, the driver's flat, and I knew that was my only move was to push hard on the up because I can't descend like these other incredible women. So that was my only game plan, was try to see what I could get on the up. And I only was thinking of it as like a 15-mile race. I'm like, just 15 miles and you'll see Waddy, you'll get the second sag, you'll see your puppy Stevie, and then try to hold on descending because I know they're going to come flying by.
So did you sort of get the separation on this climb here?
Exactly.
Dylan's gesturing wildly at his computer that no one can see.
So
how
is this section of the course? And Ethan, if you want to share my screen, it'd be great so that folks have some context of what we're talking about here. He's pulling it up right now. So you got your separation sort of going up this climb here, it sounds like?
Yeah, exactly.
What's it like along the top here? Because I've heard that it can be hot and exposed up there.
There were definitely bits, but it was also kind of shaded, so there were tough to see like rocks in the shadows. I actually rolled my left ankle in there a little bit. I was able to jog it off, but I was like, oh my God, they're coming quick. I just kept pretending they were like 30 seconds behind because I felt like I was creeping at that point. It's kind of weaving up and down. It's not flat. It's like rollers, literally. Yeah. So, and
Looks
then
like
at that section, I knew I had broken it into 4x4 milers left. So 2x4s down to
Thinking like a triathlete still, yeah.
I knew at the Clementine one, then there was like 2x4 left, and then I would hit the bridge and it'd be 1x4 left. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so speaking of, you came into the sport with a 100-mile race, and then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna do a 100K race, and now we've stepped down to 50K. It's kind of the opposite of traditional trail and ultra running, which is fair. I feel like traditional trail and ultra running is not necessarily who you are.
Heather's a non-traditional
person. But I'm wondering, right, like, okay, you're used to running, in my mind, 100K or 100 mile is like you running a marathon, after a swim off the bike. But this is a 50K with nothing happening before it. Like, what did that feel like, just like having to drop the hammer immediately for what is relatively a very short race for you?
Yeah, it was hard. This was probably the hardest of the 3 trail runs I've done. This was the hardest one. And it just felt like it was on the whole time. And I think now I've done the 3 distances. I would probably say I would go maybe 100K. Might be.
That's safe.
I mean, that's similar to my Ironman.
50Ks are hard.
They're hard.
So
it was hard.
Yeah, because it's long, but like you really do have to be on the gas the whole time.
And those 100Ks, 50 miles to 100K, I feel like feels more like a lot of the like endurance cycling stuff too, where you're like, cool, I got to be on for 6 hours or 8 hours, and it's like that's a reasonable duration.
Yes. How does it compare to like a 70.3? Like, are you sort of similar effort? Yeah.
100% good comparison. And I use kind of 70.3s like in build up to Ironmans, which is a good solid day. So that's why this was perfect. I mean, awesome training day for Western States. Okay,
last question, then you can go chill out, take a shower, get in the shade. What's going on the next 8 weeks leading up to Western States?
So
just a few things, I'm sure.
Yeah,
just like a couple events.
Well, we're 5 weeks out from Unbound and 8 weeks out from Western States. So May is going to be a big block. I got 3 week. I'll recover this week and then a big 3-week block. Unbound will be about a 9-10 hour day, June 3rd, and then Western States. So
yeah, only the biggest like gravel race in the world, followed by like arguably like one of the most important 100 miles in the world. We're at a UTMB event, so it's like it's important.
Heather Jackson, everybody, your women's champion here. Heather, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
Good
you
luck
guys
in the
so
next
much.
8 weeks. We'll see you in Auburn in 2 months.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Congratulations. So cool. That was hard. Yeah.
Great job.
I was running so
And then I think MK and like Katrina, they had like a full like sprint to the finish. Seriously. Yeah.
Who got second?
Katrina. Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, get in the shade.
Hayden Hawks, you ready?
Poison oak wash.
Hayden.
All right, we're bringing men's champion Hayden Hawks up to the stage now.
It's oily, so you want.
So don't go anywhere.
So just
So like
wash your body.
Yeah, legs, arms, dish soap. Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
That's what Hayden was saying.
Great job, Heather. Thanks for coming up for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just
Whatever way's easiest.
cause some problems, Hayden Hawks.
Look at Hayden looking casual.
Oh my goodness,
Look at
everyone.
he didn't even run a step today. Look at this guy.
Super chill.
It's like if I stood up off the stage right now, I'd be moving worse than you. I put in like 8 miles this morning.
Which one? This one.
Take this one. Hayden Hawks, your men's champion of the 50K, joining us live on stage here. We're broadcasting live on the Free Trail YouTube channel. Hayden Hawks, tell us what happened. We just had Jeshrin on the stage.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened when he took off. It sounds like he led for much of the day.
Yeah. Friggin' young buck, man. That guy's got some wheels. Like, I wish I was 25. I'm 7 years older than him. So, no, it was good. It was a good day. Like, I've been doing a lot of 100-mile type training. Some really long singles in my training. 130-mile weeks in 6 days. Coming into this, I didn't really know how much leg speed I would have, but I knew that the distance wouldn't be a problem. And I knew that, if it came down to, we were close enough at the end that I'd probably have a little bit more endurance just from the training I've been doing. And it finishes on a climb, which is always good for me. Yep. But yeah, he was flying. I mean, I honestly couldn't match some of the downhill leg speed that he had. And I was just like, man, if I try and go that hard on some of these downhills, I'm going to blow my legs apart. And I knew that final climb was going to kind of be the spot in the race where it was probably won. And so I try to save my legs a little bit, stay a little bit more conservative on the downs, just kind of let him do his thing, but tried to just keep an eye on him, make sure that he was at least within striking distance.
So you had sort of a visual most of the time?
Yeah, most of the time I could see him.
Yeah.
I was at one point I was looking down at my watch and I was running 5:10, 5:15 pace on a downhill, and he was gapping me, and I was like, holy smokes, dude! Maybe I'm just not that fast anymore, or he's just going really hard. I didn't know, but I knew what I could do, and so that's what I stuck to my game plan, and ended up working out for me.
So talk about the balance between the speed and strength stuff, because obviously Western States is the goal, which is a mix of speed and strength. You come from the traditional track background. You have speed. So has strength sort of been the emphasis of your training? It sounds like super high volume stuff. Have you been doing the sharpening too?
Yeah, I've been throwing in, every now and then some lactate threshold type work. Nothing too crazy fast though. In the past, I've done a lot more speed training. But me and my coach, we've kind of talked about is I have enough leg speed for Western States. I don't need to run faster than 6-minute pace at Western States, right? And 6 to 7 minute pace is pretty casual for me. And so I don't need to get any more speed. I just need strength. And I need to practice fueling. I need to practice heat management. It's the variables of Western States that have got me in the past. It's not the speed or the fitness. Yeah. And so that's what we've been really focusing on. Like I said, I've been doing high mileage, 120, 130 mile weeks, but in 6 days, I take Sundays off. And a lot of that's been in singles. So it's just and then workout followed by a long run. So I'm running on tired legs and just building lots of strength, because that's where I'm going to win Western States in the second half, not in the first half of the race.
Great point. You and I spoke just across the expo area here yesterday. You said it was barely a taper. You cut down a little bit, but this was basically just a stepping stone towards Western States. How are you feeling about the execution today, the fitness, et cetera, as we look ahead to the next 8 weeks?
Yeah, it went perfect, exactly how we planned. My coach did give me the green light. He said, hey, man, we can go hard. Go out and get a good effort in. Don't completely destroy yourself, but get a really good, solid effort in, because, you might be a little tired after it for a couple weeks, but then after that, you're going to reap the benefits of this race, and this was kind of a speed workout in and of itself for Western States. And that's kind of part of the plan. It's always been that way. And so I'll jump back up to 130 mile weeks, probably in the next couple weeks, and just kind of,
maybe talk about that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are watching who are wondering, because obviously you do want to recover from this. You want to be smart. So what kind of signals are you looking for your body that it's ready to you're ready to put the final block in before Western States? What will the next couple weeks look like?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is I don't feel beat up. I feel like I went and got a good...
You don't look beat up at all, man.
No, there are people here who look I would look, I think, absolutely haggard, and you look totally fine. Tessa Chester agrees. It was hot out there, right?
I had one beer last night, and I look more beat up than you right now.
Well, I'm used to running 100K, 100 mile, so the distance doesn't really intimidate me anymore. And really, I've done a lot of 50K, 25 mile, 50K runs leading into this, so that I could recover from it quickly and get back into Western States training. So that's kind of a big signal to me, is I don't feel beat up. I feel pretty good. feel like I'll be able to start running again on Monday and get back into some mileage. So after this week, I'll probably hit, you know, a little bit more of a moderate week next week, maybe around 100 miles. And then the next week, jump up to those 120, 130s again. And because Western States is the goal. That's everything to me this year.
Which I think is like, I'm really happy to hear that. I think that sometimes we get the squirrel energy and we're kind of looking right, looking left. There's so many things to do, so many things to like, so many things to chase. And you're right, Western States, that is the big goal this year. We've seen you come really close to having the day that I know that we know that you're capable of there. And I'm wondering, kind of like, as you approach the next 8 weeks, like, how are you starting to think about that so that you can go in with the right mindset, being really fit, et cetera? Because I think we're all ready for you to have that legendary Western States day. Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for that day too, you know. Like I said, the last couple of years, it's mostly been fueling problems and heat management problems. So I've been working a lot on that. I've actually been doing some work in the lab.
Cool.
In like a heat chamber and an altitude chamber to mimic the Western States course.
Sweet.
To see why I'm falling apart at the end of the race. My fueling has completely took a huge turn. I mean, I've upped my fueling like crazy.
Cool.
More carbohydrates, more hydration, thanks to Precision Hydration, one of my sponsors for that. And yeah, it's just been really good. Like, everything's like focused on the variables. Like, the fitness is there. I don't need to gain much more fitness. It's just focus on those variables so I can utilize that fitness, right? I'll do some things leading in. I'm going to do a week-long training camp at the Grand Canyon.
Awesome.
Just to get some heat in. I do a lot of sauna work, and I'll continue that sauna work. Thanks to Jonathan Levitt for that, letting me use a sauna in Boulder.
Shout out, John.
But yeah, it's those little things, right? And that's what I'm focused on. And I got some great training partners in Boulder now. Matt Daniels, who's leading the 100K. Go, Matt.
He is.
And Adam Mary and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's talk about being one of the new Boulder boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
New
we'll
Boulder,
let you go here in a bit, but maybe
Yeah.
talk about that. It's obviously a big move for your family, your father too, your wife Ashley. I just saw her. She's around here. I'm sure she was.
Probably in the shade somewhere.
She ran
Yeah.
the 25K today.
Yeah,
didn't she?
third place in the 25K.
Third place. Shout out to
Woo,
Ashley.
go
Hawks.
Ashley.
Yeah, all right, Ashley. So talk about this big move from Cedar City, Utah, where you guys have, I know like your extended family lives there. You moved to Boulder specifically for your career. Talk about maybe the sacrifice your family has made, the benefit it's brought to your career, how you guys are thinking about it in general.
Yeah. It kind of stems from Matt Daniels. Me and Matt Daniels have always wanted to train together, wanted to see how it was. And, you know, he lives in Boulder. So I'm like, yeah, Boulder seems like a nice place. Let's go test it out. And we're still testing it out. We're just renting there right now. We'll see what happens. We still have a house back in Utah, and I still got a lot of Utah pride. You know, I know it says that I'm from Boulder, Colorado, but I still say I'm from Utah.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, anyways, it's been good though. I mean, it's awesome to wake up every morning and know that you got world-class runners to train with, like Matt Daniels, Adam Mary, you know, guys like that. And so I'm really stoked about that, and we've been having a really good time, and I think we're going to have even better times to come. And I will have, Dan Jones, so the guy that crushed me at Tarawara. I'm telling you, watch out for that guy, man. Friggin' Kiwi legend.
Dude, I was
He's
looking
so
at his
good.
Instagram. I was like, God, that guy looks like an absolute savage. He
He's
looks so fit.
good, man, and he's so fit. And anyways, he's coming out to stay with me for a month in Boulder, and so we're going to be training together again.
I love it. Katie Scheid's already in Flagstaff. Tom Evans is on the way to stay with Abby
He
and
sent me a
Cordes Hall.
message
I
on
love
Instagram yesterday when you and I had the Instagram stories. He said, "I'll say what's up to Hayden." For
Yeah.
me, so
So we're
That's so
hoping
cool.
Matt, and Adam get golden tickets today, and then it's Adam, Matt, Dan, me, all going after states for the next 8 weeks.
don't kill each other in training, for God's
we
sake.
have that under control. We've talked a lot about that.
Save a little bit for the race.
We're
right?
all like older, we're mature, we understand that we have to put the egos aside and we have to be smart.
Hayden Hawks, everybody, your 50K champion.
Thanks, guys.
Legend.
Thank you.
Great job, buddy. Thanks for coming up.
We'll see you in June.
Yeah.
Katrina Jennings. We got second place finisher coming up to the stage now. The
Love
women's
it.
race.
Who sounds like put up a fight at the end.
Hi. Dylan, nice to meet you, Katrina.
Yeah, way to fight at the end there. It sounds like it was. I saw MK and she was like, it was a sprint finish.
Yeah, it was a sprint.
I think
This
it's-
is so fun. How great is this? We get to sit in the shade and have great, fun interviews with all the amazing
we're in
champions
the
from
shade.
today.
Oh, I'm Corrine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great to meet you.
So, Katrina, this is our first time meeting you,
Yeah.
both Corrine and I.
Yeah, nice
So-
to meet you guys.
Tell us about yourself a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who would love to learn a little bit about your story.
So I guess I'm probably more of a road runner at heart.
Yeah.
I represented Ireland in the London Olympics in 2012 for the marathon distance.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Okay.
started a long time ago
Yeah.
though. So, but I started stepping up the distance then, doing some ultra runs, but all on the road. So. Yeah, I ran Comrades in 2019. It was probably my first ultra run, and then last year I ran the World Championships 100k, finished third, and also the European 50k, and I won that. But obviously both road races.
So casual.
So-
Third at Worlds, won this thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, incredible performances.
Yeah, it was a good year. I was really pleased with the runs last year. And I also ran Lake Sonoma last year, which was my first trail run, which I really enjoyed, but like probably struggled more on the trails than the road because it wasn't the same speed. And I even found today as well, like it's harder to pace a trail run because you don't know what's coming and you need to save the legs. But yeah, I really enjoyed today. It was such a fun course. Lots of, I think the atmosphere here was amazing. It's always, I presume it's, really good in trail racing.
Is this your first time at a trail race in the U.S.?
No,
Lake
I did
Sonoma.
Lake Sonoma. Yeah.
But this is like, Lake Sonoma is amazing, and it's got that like grassroots community feel, and they throw an amazing party, and I feel like Canyons is kind of like the evolution of that, right? Where you've got so many races going on in a big kind of expo finish area. It kind of feels like it's a little bit heightened for trail.
Yeah, and I think there were lots of people on the course. The field was definitely deeper, I think, today than it was in Lake Sonoma. So I was like running with people or trying to, see people in the distance, trying to catch them. Like it was. I suppose it was a more fun race, I would say, for me anyway. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to have to sprint to the finish, but it was.
But I want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
also, we just had Heather Jackson up here, and she said that she was really pushing on the climbs because she knew that she wasn't going to be able to keep up with you and MK on the descent. So maybe tell us a little bit about, when Heather made her move and how you were thinking about things strategically.
So I think I let all the girls go at the start because I just figured I didn't want to be hurting and trying to hold on. So I don't know. The girls kind of went off fairly sharp. I said I'd just be patient and see how it was going. I could see Heather in the distance actually when we were climbing the road from No Hands. So I was like, well, I'm still within touching distance. That's good. And then we made the right hand turn onto the technical descent and. Wow, that was a shock. I think I lost so much time on that. I didn't expect it to be so technical. Now it's probably not technical in comparison.
But coming
to
from the
some
road,
yeah.
right? It's still an adaptation.
Yeah, it was. It was
MK
technical
says it's
for me.
technical.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll
yeah,
take it. MK
yeah.
says technical.
Yeah.
Confirmation there.
So that was a bit of a shock. But then after that, I just said, I'm here. It's a fun day out. I'm just gonna actually try and relax and enjoy it, and just the rolling hills in the middle section were just so nice. That I really enjoyed that part. The down and up, and it was just really that was, and it was really well shaded as well. So it was a nice kind of area to just I suppose relax and kind of move through. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of caught up with the girls ahead of me. I didn't actually realise because you don't really see who's ahead of you. The corners are really tight. I caught up with the third place girl, passed her just at the aid station. It was the Clementine.
Okay.
And then the nice downhill road section down to No Hands.
I bet that felt good.
That was so nice. It was like finally a bit of road. So yeah, I loved that part. And that's where I passed MK. And then coming up from No Hands, we all got stopped by the helicopter was making a rescue.
Oh no. Okay, wait, there was a helicopter rescue in the middle of the race?
Yeah, which was, I hope the guy is okay.
You little time out there were you just all hanging out?
Yeah.
Come here. We got another mic.
I'm going to get you a chair.
Yeah, we're bringing up third as well here because things just got really interesting with the helicopter. Yeah, Tessa.
All right, I want to hear your story first.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
you guys approach a helicopter rescue going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening when I saw the helicopter, and it was really dusty.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, grand, kept going. And I came around the corner and everyone was stopped. And I was like, what's happening? And they said the course was stopped. We couldn't go through.
Yeah. And then we got stuck behind all the people that were stopped. I don't know
Yeah.
if you did, but I was like having to weave through all those people and, just like regular hikers out on the
Yeah.
trail. But yeah, hopefully that person is okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Okay, so
had to-
race stops, and then all of a sudden you guys have to like keep going.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit disorienting in the middle of a race to suddenly be like, wait, okay, we're good.
It was a little weird. I'm wondering if
good.
Heather ran into that too.
She did.
Yeah, I was gonna say because she wasn't that far
Yeah.
Okay.
in front of us.
We missed this in the race debrief.
Yeah, all right. So we want to hear about the sprint finish, but maybe MK, tell us a little bit about your race before we get down to the final finishing shoot. We were just talking to Heather. She said she was pushing the climb. So maybe tell us about your experience. Where did Heather sort of make her move, and how are you approaching it?
Yeah, I feel like Heather made her move probably like 2 miles from the second aid stations, maybe like mile 12. And I came into this race like hoping to train through it, and then instead I got really sick.
Fun.
So I as soon as she like started making the move on the uphill, I was like, well, see her later. Like maybe I can catch her on the downhill. We'll see how it goes. And I just felt a bit like a shell of myself today, and that's all right. So then I was like, you know what? We'll just get top 10. We're just gonna qualify for OCC. It's gonna be okay.
That's all we need. We
That's
just
all
need the
we need.
OCC spot.
And every time I'd see Tommy, he'd be like, "You gotta keep moving," and I'm like, "You just gotta keep running. That's all you gotta do." But then you passed me on the downhill, and I literally thought, "Is she in the same race as me?" Because
She must be a 25K
I
runner. How
literally
is she
was like,
moving this
for
fast?
a second, I was like, no way. Like, she's definitely in a different race because she moved, like, it was like, I heard her, and then she was like 10 feet in front of me, and I think I made eye contact with you too. I was like, what? But
Yeah, I saw you in the distance, and I was
Oh
just
my
like
God.
gunning for you. I was like, I wasn't sure if you were third or second actually.
oh yeah.
So and then you told me Heather wasn't far ahead of you, so yeah.
And I don't know
like,
if that
I'll
was
be
true.
first.
That's just what my husband
Yeah.
kept telling me. I think it was to keep me moving.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, because in my head I was like, okay, Heather's not that far behind. I'll go like, smash this downhill. And then you passed me, and I was like, all right, that's okay.
Perspective shift suddenly.
Yeah. Oh man, but then
Then the race mindset must have taken over again.
yeah, Tommy told me that there were 2 or 3 women behind me, and I was like, well, crap. I guess I'll like just keep powering through. But then I think I saw you with like maybe a mile to go. I saw you look behind, and I kind of was like just behind something, and so I was like, maybe she didn't see me. I was like, I saw you turn,
I'm
and
fine,
I
I can cruise into
Yeah.
the finish.
This is so great. The chess match. Yes,
I
this
saw
is
you
great.
turn, and I was like, oh,
It was at the top of the hill.
Yes.
I was dying. I was like, oh my god, is this hill ever going to end? Do
Yeah.
I really have to push it?
And so I was like, okay.
Imagine that being mile 98 of Western States.
Oh, no, thank you. That's not my dream. That's not my dream. So then, yeah, I saw you turn around, and I was like, okay, she's hurting. Like, I'm going to go get her. And I almost caught you, I think, at the top of basically the final hill.
Yeah, at the bridge, just
Yeah.
over the road.
And I
over
was
the
trying to
train
be
tracks.
stealthy.
Yeah.
And I was motoring, but you heard me with like probably a quarter mile to go, and she just took off, and I was like, well, I think my face like looks like this in all the pictures because I'm just like, I was gritting.
It's the try hard
That's
face.
so good.
It was good. It was a nice fun
I
fun
needed that,
finish.
yeah, I needed that.
Yeah. It's good to
So
run
cool.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything, Katrina, from your perspective?
Yeah, I heard actually someone shout. It was your husband.
I was my
shout
husband,
for-
yeah.
I looked
Tommy,
over and I was
Tommy,
like,
Tommy.
oh my god,
He
where did you
wasn't
come
even shouting. He was like, you gotta go, and I was like,
from? So that gave me a little.
Yeah.
But you were like 10 meters behind me at that
I was pretty
stage.
close at
yeah,
that point,
really
yeah.
close. So I was like, shit. So I just like, we were at the top of the hill. I just took off.
She took off.
And I knew, like, I was like, it's mostly downhill, so it's not really that. Like, the only part I was worried about was the
That last uphill
yeah.
was not
On the road.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was uphill, and we turned the corner, and I was like, oh no.
You're like, this is the most uphill and a downhill finish
Yeah.
I've ever experienced.
It is
Yeah.
the most annoying thing ever when you think it's all downhill to the finish and there's a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of a hill.
Well, to be fair, it's a drag. It's not really uphill. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
It's just your legs are tired. at that
Honestly, the
stage,
biggest
yeah.
uphill I've ever run in a race is like the small bridge that you cross at the end of the Chicago Marathon.
Yeah.
I thought this is the end. So that's what that felt like.
Well, congratulations, incredible
well,
racing.
as I guess question, will we see
Yeah.
you both at OCC
Yeah.
in August?
Well, tell us what's next. You're going
Yeah.
to the Worlds. That's
Yeah.
probably next. Anything in
I'm going
between?
to Worlds. That's like 6 weeks away. So,
In June, Austria.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then after that, just OCC. So
Cool.
the goal was just to qualify.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm running Comrades Marathon in
Heck
June.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. Similarly, today was like a warm-up race. I was trying
Yeah.
to get a bit of a stimulus in the legs, and
And it was that.
yeah, 6 weeks to tomorrow is the race. So yeah, that'll be
Amazing.
fun. Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Congratulations on awesome podium
get
finishes.
some more water,
Yeah.
get in the shade,
Yeah.
Take a nap.
take a nap.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good work.
Okay, we're going to go back to the tracker here. I think there's been some updates that we'll inform everybody about, or that you will inform us about, more likely. So we'll get to that here in just a second. So we shuffle things around.
Congratulations.
Great to meet you, Katrina. Yeah, see you around.
Just
Okay,
a little, just a
Corrine.
little helicopter story in the midst of the women's 50K. That's pretty
Crazy.
cool. But it looks like the women's 100K things are heating up. I think Ida's closed that gap back to Priscilla. It sounds like they are running neck and neck at Mammoth Bar. Yep, they came in 1 second apart.
Goodness
Kilometer
gracious.
65. Ida Nilsson, she's a fighter. You got the Swede from Kraft is currently leading the women's race at Mammoth Bar. It's a long stretch to Drivers Flat. This, I think, is going to be the section of the race that really starts to set the stage for the rest of the women's race, because it's going to take probably 75, 80 minutes or so to get between Mammoth Bar and Drivers Flat, and that is going to be hot and exposed in there. So I think that, 65K to Drivers Flat is really going to be the determining factor for what happens in the rest of this women's race. But yeah, Ida Nilsson, Priscilla Forgy together at Mammoth Bar. 6 hours elapsed essentially on the clock, 65K in, about 75 minutes, 80 minutes to go before they get to that next aid station in the scorching heat. That's going to be very, very hard.
How cool was that?
Our
It was so
interviews?
cool to just
Oh
get
my
everybody
goodness.
up here. We're
We-
missing Light Puma since
For
we
not
got the whole
for
podium.
not planning at all.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, team.
I mean, yeah, this whole production has been certainly better than I expected. So thank you to you, Corrine, and to Ethan Vosberg. There's Addie,
And
our
we want to
drone
give a
pilot.
huge shout out to Addie, our drone pilot, who we got to see an amazing clip from her
Oh,
early.
there's Harmo and my baby too.
Baby's
So-
awake.
Just so everybody knows who's watching us, we're gonna have to sign off here in about 20 minutes. They're gonna be doing the award ceremony here on the stage that we're occupying at noon. It's now 11:08, so we're gonna wind down here at about 11:30, making this a 2.5-hour broadcast. And it now sounds like there's gonna be another award ceremony from 4 to 6, which means that our post-game show will likely have to be at 6, or maybe we bag
We'll
it.
figure it out.
Maybe we
we'll
try and
see.
do something earlier. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. We're going to go out to the mile 48 section of the course, we think, to try to get some more of those GoPro shots that we got for you all this morning out at the cool aid station. But let's give an update on the men's 100K race. We've got the top 10 through Mammoth Bar. Again, Matt Daniels leading there. We should expect splits from our lead men at Drivers Flat in about 10 minutes or so. We expect Matt Daniels to be the first athlete through there. But again, Mammoth Bar to Drivers Flat, it's hot, it's exposed, and it's a long section between aid there. So I think that could be a bit of a game changer for folks. So again, Matt Daniels in the lead there. He had about a 5-minute lead at that aid station ahead of Cole Watson.
Ethan, do you mind sharing my screen here?
Share Dylan's screen for the YouTube folks.
you can go picture in picture for us. So I just wanted to pull this up so Corrine can talk through it.
Again, Matt Daniels, we do expect him at the driver's flat aid station in about 9 minutes. That will probably be a little bit of a delayed split because driver's flat is in the middle of nowhere. We normally use ham radio operators to get information from that part of the course during Western States. It's not dissimilar today. Cole Watson in second. Again, Cole, local guy, Sacramento area, Hoka athlete. He is in pursuit of Matt Daniels in second, but he is being chased by the Frenchman, Sebastien Spellier in third, David Roach in fourth. Those two men have been running together since early in the race. We saw them together at the mile 12, mile 14 mark. Adam Mary in fifth. He's about 3 or so minutes back behind David Roach. David Laney right with him in sixth. The German athlete, Simone Widman in seventh. That's kind of where that delineation happens in the men's field. Top 6 pretty darn close together, about an 8-minute spread there. And then between 6th and 7th, the gap opens up about 20 minutes. So 7th place, Simon Widman of Germany. 8th, we've got Chris of the U.S. He's got a very Greek last name, Papamopoulos. I'm not going to say that 10 times fast. 9th, Roberto Mastro of Italy. And then Ellis Bland, who we've been told about over and over again today in the live chat. Ellis Bland, keep your eyes out for Ellis Bland. He is currently in 10th position in the men's race. An athlete from the UK, hanging on to that M10 position right now. So really cool racing from the men. And again, those top 6 men, they are all currently in the hunt for the golden tickets.
Yeah. Super interesting race evolving here, and I guess we probably won't get another update from the women before we log off, but we will get one more update from the men from the driver's flat aid station, roughly mile 48, before Corrine and I excuse ourselves.
But you'll be able to follow along again at live.utmb.world. Again, that's live.utmb.world. You can follow all the distances at canyons. You can search by runner, you can search by distance, you can search by gender. That will allow you to track both the overall men's and women's racers, but also your racer that you might be watching for from home. You can search them that way. Oh, it looks like we do have our top 4 women through Mammoth Bar, so let's give an update there. Do you want to switch your screen over to the women's 100K? So the women's 100K right now, again, Mammoth Bar is that 65-kilometer aid station. They've got a ways to go to huck it over to the driver's flat aid station. Eden Nilsson in the lead, but neck and neck with the Canadian athlete Priscilla Forgy in second. It looks like they have about a 7-minute gap on the chase pack of Arroyo Sio and Anna McKinney. Those two women have been running together since we saw them around the 12-mile mark. They've been running not hand in hand. Yeah. They've been trading leads there, but they are currently
6 minutes between the top 4 women.
Yeah, it's anyone's game
65K.
for a golden ticket in the women's race as well. We do expect that next group to be Naomi Brand, Brianna Grigsby. I think that akin to David Roach's tracker, I do believe that Addie Bracey's tracker might be having an issue there, and we should be getting an update from her at Mammoth Bar. Just be patient, etc. But behind them, Sammy Stimek, Mary Bowman, Lindsay Allison, and Yuri Yoshizumi, the Japanese athlete, rounding at the top 10 right now. Potentially Addie Bracey in that mix too, so top 11 women. But the top 4, 6 minutes apart in total, running basically 1-2 together and 3-4 together at the 65K mark.
Yeah, and just to repeat it, it's Sweden, Canada, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, the top 5 women here today. So it's an international distribution here in the women's top 10.
Which is super interesting because I want to say that when we were thinking of this as like the North American major, we're like, okay, is the field going to be big enough? Is the field going to be deep enough to warrant this title? And I think that while we want more and more people to race it for sure, I do think that the international field here is unlike anything we've seen before for canyons in particular, and really for a high caliber US race, having more international athletes come over. We had international athletes toe the line at Black Canyon back in February, including Tom Evans and Janusz and Janusz Kwalczyk and Eden Nilsson all being there as well. But here, Sweden, Canada, Spain, Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Japan all in the women's top 10 right now in pursuit of not only a spot at the UTMB World Series finale in August and September of this year, but also 2 of those women will be going home with a golden ticket into Western States just 8 weeks away, finishing here in Auburn, California.
How about our boy Hayden Hawks, man?
What a calm, cool,
casual,
collected.
Man.
confident character.
He's just cruising around here looking totally fresh, like he didn't even run a 50K today.
Yeah, you like if you see him out here, you're probably like, he was a spectator. He supported someone.
There's our boy Ryan Thrower there.
We love you, Ryan.
Absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, give the people what they want, Ryan.
So back to Hayden. I mean, man, 8 weeks to go. He was second at Western States last year.
But a second in which we saw his race like fall apart, right? Like it wasn't like he charged to second. Like he held on for second. He had a hard race in 2021 as well, where I don't think we thought he was going to finish for a while. It was unclear if he was having a medical emergency during that race. He did manage to finish. He did manage to eke into the top 10 there. In a men's race that was just catastrophic, I think, from start to end.
I just love his competitiveness, man. You can tell he really wants to win there, and I loved how he said he always had almost a visual on Gestrin, and he knew it was going to come down in the last climb, and that he was going to push there.
Yep.
And man, just it feels like he knocked it out of the park today, drew it up exactly the way he wanted to.
Yep, and I think it's setting him up really well for that 100-mile effort in 8 weeks. We've got, probably his. So interestingly, right. One of his top competitors for that race, Adam Peterman, is not here this weekend, in part because he's been dealing with a bit of an injury, but it's gotten better. And I think this is really smart of Adam Peterman to say, hey, my injury's just gotten to a place where I feel comfortable starting to do work on it. I'm not going to do a 50K on it right now. And that is incredibly mature for a relatively, young, new runner in the sport of trail and ultra running.
This would be fun to talk about with you too, Corrine, as a coach. Obviously, Adam Peterman is the anomaly, the fringe talents that exists in the world. But for the defending champion to not have raced since November at the World Championship, racing in the spring, and then going straight to Western.
He did a weird marathon with micro spikes. Half marathon with micro spikes.
I mean, I'm not sure I would really count that. I mean, for me, if I were Adam Peterman, I would love to get a tune-up to get just some sense of where my body's at for like the longer ultra type trail race fitness. Him going in relatively blind, though obviously a freak talent.
Versus having won this race last year, right? And having that stimulus going into Western States. I mean, I think...
Plus, you do get that, like, fitness bump from, like, putting yourself through a race, right?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think for him, he's probably walking that line of, is it a fitness bump or could it be a huge setback?
Right.
And so it's like if he's confident in his preparation, he's confident in the training that he can do, those simulated efforts that he can do in Missoula with his training people, I think that's really important.
Travis Longcar in the chat, Adam Peterman, elite decision maker. And it's so true. And we talked about this on my podcast.
We should make him business cards.
Yeah, it's like he really is so wise beyond his 27 years and his like 2 years in the sport. He really has executed his career so intelligently. And Mike McManus over there, who's the head sports marketing guy at Hoka, Adam Peterman relayed that McManus had even encouraged him not to necessarily do Western States. And then after Western States, of course, Adam made the decision not to go to CCC, which a lot of athletes would have felt pressured to do. Elite decision making.
Like I'm on the rise. I had to take every opportunity afforded to me. Like, that is an incredibly mature decision to be like, actually, I'm going to pump the brakes on this, which might feel, whereas most of us, I think, will feel like desperate and like, this is my career. I have to make it. I have to race more. So
especially
really,
really cool. One of the UTMB races, you know, you go there to make a name for yourself in the sport. Obviously, you just won Western States, one of the most important races of all time.
But that harkens back to one of our other favorite quotes of all time from Tim Tollefson of when he started a UTMB race a couple of years ago and said he wasn't brave enough not to start the race. And I think that speaks to, Adam making that decision to focus on one thing, and this year Tim's decision to focus on one thing as well. And I think that, hopefully it pays off for these guys. And I think that is the difference of ultra running in 2023 versus ultra running in 2013 or 2003, where we saw elites, professionals race themselves into the ground only to be around for a couple of years. So the careers are getting longer. People are staying in the sport longer. And I think that shows with athletes making decisions to prioritize getting to be in the sport for a long time.
It's so true. So true. Great point. Elite decision maker, Adam Peterman. Shout out Travis Longcar for that new phrase that I'm going to steal and adopt.
And I want to update one more thing from the women's race, because I don't know, personally, I was freaking out about Addie Bracey, wondering where she was because her tracker didn't pick up at No Hands 2. She has, in fact, come through Mammoth Bar. She is 10 minutes back of 4th, probably in no woman's land, a little bit by herself there. But right now, our top 5 women are through Mammoth Bar. We expect Naomi Brand to be through there any minute as well. This is that next section that's going to feel really, really hot, but Addie Bracey is your 5th place woman through Mammoth Bar, the 65-kilometer mark.
So she's about 15 minutes back of the lead.
15 minutes back of the lead and about 10 minutes back of that chase path.
It feels to me like she's racing really intelligently. Obviously,
I
Addie
hope
Bracey
so.
has the leg speed to hang with anybody. So my feeling early was that she was actively holding herself back.
That's what it looked like coming into Cool 2. Talking a little bit to her team that was out there, seeing her run into that section, she felt like she was being really patient. And we just hope that like patience pays off as this race heats up, as they get into like the belly of the beast out there.
Yep. So we should get Matt Daniels through driver's flat here any second, mile 48. So stick with us here, but while we wait for that update. In the chat here, Nick Cornell says the kids are all right. It makes me want to talk more about Jeshrin Small, who joined us on
That
stage.
should be,
here.
that's our next shirt. The kids
20,
are all right.
Oh, here he is. There's our guy. No.
Jeshrin, so proud.
25 years old, doing battle with one of the greats, Hayden Hawks. Hayden said that he blasted past him on the downhill, and it was like, man, I wish I was 7 years younger. But
Yeah, I wish I was 25.
yeah. No, it's cool to see, these young super talents coming into the sport. And it seems like, Jeshrin being really smart with his career execution. When I was his age, I'd already done 300 or 400 milers at that point.
When I was his age, I still was a year out from trying a trail race.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. He's coming here just to get that OCC qualification. He's done that effectively. Takes home a 6 second place for him.
Yeah, he ran the Desert Rats race a couple of weeks ago. Oh my goodness. Hi.
Hey guys.
We're live on YouTube. But yeah, so it's really, really cool. Oh my goodness, we're being photobombed by Rachel Drake and Caitlin Gerben and Lou. Hi, baby
There's
Lou.
Tyler Green.
Oh, it's a video. How was the 25K, ladies? Amazing. Wave at YouTube. Caitlin Gerben, Rachel Drake, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you actually get closer. We don't have you in the frame
come
here.
here. Oh, there they are. Caitlin Gerben, Rachel Drake, and baby Lou.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Alongside Tyler Green. Good to see you guys.
Hi, buddy. We'll get to talk to you in 8 to 10 minutes.
All right, let's hit refresh here. Let's see if our guy Matt Daniels has come through. I don't think refresh really needs to be hit, but we'll hit it anyway. Still says imminent. So it'll be really interesting to see this gap back to the Cole Watson, Seb Spaler, David Roche group behind who we expect to be Matt Daniels. Obviously, he's just gone through, probably
I'm calling it the belly of the beast.
Yeah, biggest climb, exposed section.
Post 65K, super exposed. It's going to be warm. It's a long time between aid, and then they'll finally get, again, remember this 100K, they get to see their crew at mile 6, mile 14, and mile 48. Like, that is a hard way to run 100K. Obviously, there's great aid stations out there. They took wonderful care of the 100-mile runners, dousing them with cold water, trying to get ice on them. They will have those aid stations out there as well in the 100K, but that is a long time between crewable aid stations to see your people, to get your nutrition, to have that personal touch.
While we're talking about the belly of the beast, we should probably share our screen here, Ethan, if you don't mind.
Yours is
great.
shared.
Thank you so much. He anticipated that. Or maybe it was already up. All right. But, Corrine, I think this is a great thing for us to just continue to just sort of riff on here, because obviously the men's leaders are up here approaching the driver's flat aid station. We are beyond, obviously, the halfway point. This is when things really start to get real. It's the heat of the day. The miles have accumulated. The stress of the competition in the race is wearing down not only the bodies, but also the brains of these athletes.
Yeah, and these two aid stations in a row are kind of far apart in the heat of the day, right? You've got 7+ and 8+ miles between those two aids. Well, that's not that far. It's not that short either. That is a hard stretch to pull when you're 70K deep or so, 75K deep into this thing. All of a sudden, you're really in the throes of potentially feeling really, really bad, things going sideways, and having to make it to that next crew point.
I mean, you still got a ways to go too. You still got 14 miles to go, and the hottest part of the day. Luckily,
Lots of things can happen.
most of the hardest climbing is behind them, but there is that sting in the tail climbing up from No Hands Bridge, back up to Roby Point, and down into downtown Auburn, where Corrine and I sit now just 100 meters from the finish line. But I think it is important to just highlight here while we have the screen up. The runners received aid, or crew support, I should say, at Cool here at mile 14 and a half or so. They have not received crew support since that aid station. So now they're approaching mile 48, well beyond, the halfway point of the race. They've now gone 50 kilometers plus without any crew support. So it really makes those aid station transitions and intelligent race execution like super duper important, especially with challenging elements.
You've got no one checking you, right? Yeah. Like your crew might say, hey man, no, you need that bottle filled, versus when you're out there by yourself, you start to make bad decisions.
Right.
And these athletes need to stay in it so that they don't make those bad decisions that become super consequential all of a sudden. It's really, really hot. We're sitting in the shade. It's definitely warming up here for us, but I know that as soon as we get off the stage and step out into the sun, it's going to feel blazing hot.
And when things unravel, when it's hot, when things unravel, they unravel quick.
Oh yeah,
right?
You're lightheaded. You can't eat. You
it's
can't
not just
drink.
like you hit a little low point. It's like you go from running hard to basically coming to a standstill.
I would say I would not even call it walking. I would say it's a crawl at that point when things really come apart.
We were predicting some carnage and some attrition, although maybe we can talk about this too, Corrine. We haven't mentioned much about the golden ticket chase. So the top 2 men and women here today will earn automatic entry into the Western States 100 in 8 weeks. Beyond that, UTMB World Major here in North America. So top 10 will get automatic qualification into CCC.
Yep.
But maybe explain how that can be adjusted based on what the athlete determines they want to do.
Yeah, so interestingly, I think for everyone that we talked about, normally in a golden ticket race, attrition is maybe higher because if you're not in the golden ticket hunt, you might pull out. You might say, hey, it's not my day. I'm going to save it for something else. I'm done. Because the top 10 here get that auto spot into CCC, I think there's another reason to stay in it, to fight for it, because maybe you're not in that race yet already, and this is your chance to do it. Additionally, now with some changes to the qualification standards, you can also ask to go up a place. So you can say, hey, actually, you can write in and say, hey, I finished top 10 at this North American major. I actually want to race UTMB and get that approval to bump up in distance. And so same thing here with OCC, going up maybe to CCC for some of these guys. I think that is really, really smart because one, you want to stay in it, you want to finish it, you want to get that top 10, and additionally, you don't necessarily have to race 100 mile after 100 mile or 100K after 100K in order to qualify for the season finale of that distance choice. So I think that men and women will be sticking it out for that reason.
Update here, folks. Cole Watson, local boy, through driver's flat first, with the caveat that we don't know if the tracker is totally accurate. Cole Watson through driver's flat in first. It looks like he went through just about a minute ago, 11:26 a.m. local time here on the West Coast. Matt Daniels, it still says imminent. So we have had tracking issues, so stay tuned. We'll try and get some accurate splits through that driver's flat aid station. If you have firsthand information, please do send us a text or a DM or put it in the chat here because we would love to know. So Matt Daniels either has been overtaken by Cole, who he had a 5-minute lead on earlier, or maybe his tracker is
Cole was pretty close
malfunctioning.
to Seb and David and Adam Mary, and those guys still aren't predicted to be into driver's flat for another 7 to 15 minutes. Those top 6 guys, again, the top 6 guys were only 8 minutes apart at Mammoth Bar, and then there's a 20-minute gap between 6th and 7th. And so we're Cole Watson, first male through driver's flat, the 78K mark, Sacramento guy, local guy, wants that golden ticket. Had I think a race that he would consider lackluster at Western States last year, is 14th in the men's race, 16th overall, wants redemption, wants that golden ticket. Cole Watson, currently, we believe, leading the men's race. We should be hearing from, essentially, on the trackers, Matt Daniels, Sebastian Spellier, David Roach, Adam Mary, and David Laney in quick succession. But again, this is the section of the course that I'm really worried about for these guys and gals, and we might see that carnage start to really unfold.
So cool to see Cole Watson out front, if indeed the tracker is accurate. Again, we put up a great YouTube video with him the other day. I don't know Cole super well personally, but he comes off as just a super sweet, humble, hardworking guy. he was doing a workout here on the course, basically 90-minute warm-up with 5x3 minute uphill. He was trying to deplete the glycogen with that long 90-minute warm-up, and then doing 5x3 minute uphill intervals. A big boy workout to put the capstone on his training block ahead of the Canyons 100K, bringing in the local knowledge. Cole Watson out front here, it looks like, in the 100K. He desperately wants that golden ticket. And one of the, I guess, subplots or storylines here today is Cole Watson being narrowly missing the golden tickets multiple times in his career. He was 4th place at Black Canyon.
He's been 3rd at Javelina.
He's 3rd at Javelina.
In
he
2021.
was saying at Bandera a couple years ago, he was in the lead most of the day and then faded to 4th. So, and he said, you know, I don't want to get 3rd and have the ticket bumped down to me. Like, I really want to break the tape. I want to earn that place back at the Western States 100. So don't go anywhere. Cole Watson has 14 miles left to go, separating him from the finish line here in Auburn and that golden ticket back to Western States.
Yeah, so it sounds like
word on the course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I got really excited. We from the chat got word on the course that Cole did indeed pass Matt, who is now in 2nd. So Cole Watson, Matt Daniels, we believe to be your 1 and 2 in the men's race. They've kind of been going back and forth much of the day. They've definitely traded the lead through some of these aid station splits. So again, on your screen right now, you can see that on the YouTube channel. Cole Watson right now with that lead through the 78K mark.
So that means Cole Watson either put in a surge or Matt Daniels is hit a little bit of a low point. Again, yesterday was Matt Daniels' birthday, his 35th birthday. And if I sent him a text saying, be patient. Again, he was on the podcast recently, and it seemed like that was a big takeaway from his performance at Gorge. So if he has indeed hit that low point, let's hope Matt can be patient, stick with it, keep grinding. It's a tough day out there, though.
Brett Hornig in the chat. Brett coaches Cole Watson, and he said he has strict orders from his coach that he was not allowed to lead until after mile 40.
All right, good coach in there, Hornig.
I don't know. We have no idea. Sorry.
All right, folks, we're going to sign off here pretty soon. Maybe 5-10 more minutes. Let's see if we can get a couple more updates before we log off and make way for the award ceremony, which is going to be happening here on the stage. But things are really starting to heat up. It's a shame we got to log off. But this has been super fun, man.
We did
what
it.
A great little
We
live
figured
stream.
out how to do a pseudo live stream for you all. So thanks for being patient with us today. Really happy that we were able to get everything from out on course earlier this morning. Really, really excited to see how this race plays out for our men's and women. Really exciting race right now in the men's and women's side. Tight battles on both fronts. At the last aid station for the men, 8 minutes separated the top 6. That is a tight set of racing.
Unreal. Well, we wish we could stick around and provide commentary over the top of this live tracker all day. But it will be nice to maybe get a bathroom break, rehydrate ourselves.
All right.
We are planning to come back and do a post-game show, just do a wrap-up of the Golden Ticket chase, look ahead towards Western States, things like that. We were planning to do it at 5 p.m. We've been informed that there is another award ceremony here on the stage between 4 and 6. So
we're gonna
stay
figure
tuned.
that out, and as soon as we figure it out, we'll update the Free Trail Instagram account as to if we'll be going live here again at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Pacific. But it's been fun hanging out with you guys all morning thus far.
Imminent.
I don't
I
love
keep
when it's
hitting refresh,
imminent.
even though I don't need to.
But yeah, and again, if you're watching from home, right, you can also frustratingly refresh the live trackers, just like we're doing here publicly on stage. And that's, again, at live.utmb.world. You're going to say follow. You're going to click follow along for the Canyons endurance runs, and there you can search by distance, by gender, etc., to find your athlete that you're out there tracking, as well as the leading men and women who are out there chasing those golden tickets in the 100K, chasing those top 10 finishes in the 50K, 100K, and the 100-mile runners that are still making their way into town after long, hot day yesterday and this morning.
So again, we don't know the accuracy of the timing system here, but speculating that it is accurate. Cole went through 8 minutes ago now. We still don't have an update. So that would be quite a substantial lead. It would be a pretty safe lead, knock on wood. Obviously, anything can happen, but we'll see when this updates if, in fact, it is 8 minutes plus there between Cole Watson and the chase pack behind him.
Yeah, so we'll see. I know that, again, those live trackers out there, it's not like an instantaneous things going up into a satellite onto the internet. It's a oftentimes manually inputted tracking system due to the nature of not having cell signal on much of the course. So be patient with the trackers. We sure try to be. We can hit refresh again if that helps.
Let's hit refresh. Still no update here. So they're estimating that Cole will go through Clementine, which is, I think, is that the final aid station? Let's look on the tracker here. No, because they go through No Hands. Yeah, so there's Clementine, then No Hands before they get to the finish here. Ethan, you can share my screen one last time if you don't mind. Oh. Okay. I've been informed we need to end it very soon, so we're going to just share screen one more time, and then we're going to call it a day here, folks. I don't want to log off.
You can't make me. Actually, they can. We're not the boss.
Just go live after this on Instagram or something.
We'll just sit in the shade on Instagram for
I might
hours.
go take a nap. I woke up at like 2:45 this morning. I was just too amped. Okay, we're sharing screen here. So again, we see our leader Cole Watson through driver's flat, mile 48. He's got roughly an hour to get to Clementine, which is 91K. So what is that? That's roughly 56 miles. Then he's got another 6K down to No Hands Bridge, the famous landmark on the Western States course, before climbing up to Roby Point and dropping in to Auburn, where the finish line awaits. One last refresh, and then we are going to bid you adieu.
Driver's flat, Adam Mary. That's our update.
Oh, we can't log off.
No, we're gonna get physically pulled off the stage otherwise. But yeah, we do have an update.
9 minutes.
And
Wow.
I think driver's flat is where they see their crew, right? And so
Yes.
it's like they might be spending. I wonder too if that split is when they enter the aid station or when they leave the aid station, because they might spend a chunk of time there too. They haven't seen their crew since mile 14 at that point. They are like literally doing whatever they can to be iced down at that point. So Adam Mary, Cole Watson, Adam Mary currently through driver's flat 1 and 2.
And Julianne Mary, his wife, and the mother of their brand new baby boy, Arthur J. Mary, is in the chat. Julianne, I know, isn't here. I asked Adam myself today if the family made the trip. Dad's on a business trip here, currently in second place through driver's flat. He's got 14 miles between him and his first golden ticket, and we know Adam Mary wants it. With that being said, Adam Mary, 9 minutes back. Your race leader, Cole Watson. Okay.
Are we going to?
Okay.
We might take a quick intermission to figure it out.
We're going to log off now. Stay tuned to the Free Trail Instagram account. We may come back on at some point, okay? So if you want us to come back, we'll try and come back. But thanks for joining us all day today. Corrine, any last words?
No, I am incredibly excited to follow along. I'll be refreshing the tracker on my phone as well, just like you guys, and figuring out when we're going to come back live, either imminently or around probably 5 or 6 p.m. tonight Pacific. So stay tuned. Can't wait to see what happens.
Peace out. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, team.